YouTube soon, I hope. Ben, you all right?
Yeah, man, steady.
Good.
Looking forward to I was excited. I was like, whoa, that's a bit
Yeah.
random. We take this.
Yeah.
I know. Thank God for Ben. That's what I say.
Shut my girlfriend off at the train station. She's like, you're a bit eager to get rid of me. You seem busy. I was like, yeah, I've got to go. Bye.
It's nothing
That's
personal. We
funny.
just don't want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like we are on YouTube. Let me check the audio.
I know. Thank God for Ben. That's what I say.
Shut my
There you
girlfriend
go.
off at the train station. She's like, you're a bit eager to get rid.
You could. So sorry. You could hear the clapping there, could you?
We could.
How are you going
Alright.
to survive that voice? It's terrible. It's no chin.
It's better than Chin. No, I'm just playing.
Better than
You're
Chin.
both
It's definitely
awesome.
not.
That's all it is. All right.
There you
So
go.
I think we're all good. Should we go ahead and start?
I think we can.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Let's start the motherfucking show, bitch.
Here we go, baby.
Not funny.
Welcome yo to the veteran gamers. Juju, Jimmy, other fellas will tell you about every single game that they play this week.
I shoot
News,
birds at the
reviews,
airport.
and an indie
Everybody
pick.
hates
Stu
birds,
story time
right?
and Jimmy's game breakers. Here comes Duke with the soundbite saviors.
Maybe people should think
It's
before
the
they
veteran
speak.
gamers.
Game breaker.
It's the veteran gamers.
Oh, SpaghettiOs!
Yeah, boy.
No one gives a shit.
Switch that console off before you have to press repeat, yo.
Can we cut the condescending crap and play the game?
Hello and welcome to episode 771 of the Veteran Gamers podcast.
Yeah, 771. I'm Duke.
I'm Stu.
And I'm Ben.
Ben is back in the building, baby. What up, Ben? How you doing?
Blah, blah, blah.
Can we sound clip that?
That always gets me. That's like, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah.
All right.
It's glad to be back.
Yeah. Thank you for filling in when Shinny had a brain freeze and a coughing fit. He's all sick.
Oh, man. Well, I hope he will be back next week, I'm sure.
He better
Yeah,
be back or he's
hopefully,
getting a beating.
hopefully. Otherwise, we'll just have Ben again. It's fine.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Ben again
Same.
for the win. Or the win. I don't know.
So, what a week I've had.
What a week
go on
you've
then,
had.
tell
What a
us.
week I had.
What?
Why did you have a
Well,
week?
Because, right, you know all the shit and the hassle we had the previous week with the Podbean feed not
Yes.
being right and
It went all
oh,
crazy.
then I had to reclaim the podcast off iTunes and I had to go around and swap the feed to the new one everywhere and oh my
Once
god,
again,
what a
the communication process is broken down.
what a palaver. And then
Yeah.
lo and behold,
Lo and behold.
8 days later, with no contact from Podbean at all in that time between like Bert doing a runner and fucking off and not sorting
Yeah.
anything out, right?
Yeah.
And never hearing off me again. I got
Yeah.
this email.
Uh-oh.
Hi,
Yes.
thank you for your patience. Your Podbean podcast RSS feed has now been updated back to
Oh, sweet. They did what we
feed.podbean.com.
wanted.
/.
Yay.
035s./feed xml.
And it solved
So I-
everything.
It did, but it's fucking annoying.
You had to go back and re-switch the things you had switched.
No, thankfully, no. They did all
really?
that stuff. So yeah, they did it all automatically.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
so
Well,
they-
then it's a good news that we got that email
well,
from them.
eventually. But
Well, I
right,
mean, a week isn't really that long, to be fair.
it's 8 days. 8
It's-
days. And to
Especially
be
when you
fair,
think
Alright,
of this
8 days.
podcast, like we are the levels of like, Joe Rogan.
Nuh-uh, they're
levels.
jumping
Exactly.
right to it, man.
Exactly.
Call her daddy,
I know.
whatever. Put her on
Yeah,
hold.
call me daddy.
Veteran
I know.
gamers.
Veteran
Oh my
gamers.
God.
Hey,
Joe
thank
Rogan,
you.
whatever. I'll call Joe Rogan back next month. This is the
Yeah.
veteran gamers calling.
but no. All joking aside, though, had we been making a living off it,
Yes, that would have
Yeah,
been a
8
big deal. Yes.
it would have been a massive. 8 days is a long
Yes.
time.
But
to,
to be fair, Stu, if we were making a living off of this, somebody else would be handling that shit for us.
Well, maybe.
You
But
wouldn't be
here's-
doing that by
but
yourself.
I thought, well, I'm not going to respond because you've been shit. So I'm not even responding. Right. So I didn't reply or anything. Right. And then on Saturday, I got another email from them
Yeah.
going, hope you're doing well today. I hope you received my previous email in response to your support ticket.
Yes.
Please feel free to write back to us with any further queries. We'd be more than happy to assist you. If you think the problem has not been resolved, please reply to this
Yeah.
email. We'll definitely make sure we sort things out for you.
That's because there's a robot who was like, nobody responded. We better send another email.
If the
See
problem
how they-
is resolved to your satisfaction, please spare a minute and let us know about your support experience participating in the survey below. Your feedback will help us serve you better. So I thought, do you know what? So I gave it a both guns
The
blazing.
survey isn't going to do much. If you send an email saying we're going to find
No,
another
listen.
host because
Just
of
a
your
minute.
slow response, that might do something.
Just a minute.
Okay.
So I replied to Rebecca because
Yes,
this was
okay, okay.
Rebecca.
Gotcha.
So I replied,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
And I gave her a bit of shit and said, to be honest with you, the service was pretty fucking shocking. Bert was very unprofessional and
Yes.
very unhelpful, right?
Agreed.
That's the gist. So I said, I've got 3 questions for you. Number 1, why did the URL change in the first place?
Yeah.
As we were worried it had been hacked, right?
Sure.
So that was the first. Number 2, why was Bert so unhelpful?
Yes.
Number 3.
She's like, there's no one named Bert who works here. What are you talking about?
Number 3, why did it take 8 days to fix the problem, right?
Yeah,
So that's
God made
what
the
I-
world in 7. You couldn't get
I
back
know.
to us. And
No, come on, chop chop.
Now, fair enough, she replied, but didn't answer any of those questions. What she said was, thank you for contacting us and sharing your experience. We understand your concerns regarding the URL change. Occasionally, system glitches can lead to unexpected changes.
wow. So in other words, we have no idea what fucking happened.
Yeah,
and a
we
lot of
fucked it
other
up at
people have
our
this
end, but
problem too.
we don't know why. So they at least they admitted they fucked it
Yeah,
up.
this is a classic politician answer. From
Yeah, really.
the-
It is, but please know we take seriously security very seriously. Our team will continuously improve our service to enhance your user experience. We will. I like this bit now. We will be in touch with the support team to ensure our communication and support improves moving forward.
Okay. Well,
If
hey,
you have
there's
any
that.
further questions, or if anything else I can assist you with, please don't hesitate to reach out. Your satisfaction is very important to us.
Oh, now they want you. They
Yes.
know the veteran gamers.
Yeah.
They're
They know, they've realised the
Please
mistake.
stay, please.
So all that being said, they did sort it out eventually, but it
They
was a
did.
bit of a doozy, really. 8 days and nothing, no communicate. And I said to her in the email, look, if you'd just communicated and let us know what was going on, that would have been
Yes.
fine. It was this lack of nothing, no contact, no nothing. So anyway,
Yes.
it's fixed
Well,
now.
all's well that ends well, as the bard
It
said.
is. It is.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion, everybody. The stream should be back to normal, and we'll be back to delivering your stupid garbage every week, right on time.
Yeah,
Ben,
don't be that.
you got
what
any
about you?
stories for us?
My favorite time. It's story time.
Story
I guess you already
time.
gave us a story, but you give us another one, Ben. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if you remember last time I was on, I was trying to get those League of Legends tickets, and they were like
Yes.
£300, and you were like, don't pay it, don't pay it, don't pay it. It's a disaster. Anyway, this week they put like the final tickets available on general sale, and it got botted to hell.
Oh,
They are
Wow.
no.
incredible, right?
Wow.
Oh, no.
Ben, my man. Ben, my
Yes.
man. You'll be happy to know you're in touch with the veteran gamers and the guest presenter every now and again.
Yeah, please tell me you got me
Because-
tickets.
Because we received an email this week from Red Bull Gaming Sphere at the League of Legends World
No.
Championship final saying, hi there. Hope you are doing well. The 2024. I'm reading the email to you
You
now
are
because
having a laugh.
There's no
No, no.
tickets here. Just
This is
No,
a joke.
listen.
This is a
Right to
joke,
the
isn't it?
chase.
Let me-
You got me
Listen.
wrong.
No, he got
like
an
a
email,
second
but ain't no
first.
tickets.
Are
Fine.
you
Go ahead,
listening?
Stu,
Are
go
you,
ahead.
are you going to listen or not? Are you
Listen,
listening?
listen.
I'm sweating.
The 2024 League of Legends World Championship is currently underway. The team's competing across Europe for the chance for a spot in the final,
It is.
which will be taking place on November 2nd at the O2 Arena in London.
Mm.
I'm reaching out on behalf of Red Bull as we have a brilliant opportunity to invite select podcasts who will be in London for the tournament to the Red Bull Gaming Sphere during the League of Legends World Final to record episodes. And I was wondering if you would be interested in using the space. Now, I think, reading it again, you've got to already be going.
Oh.
It's the gist of it.
So
When I'm
as I
reading it a
said, there ain't no
second
fucking
time-
tickets coming here. It's just spam from Red Bull wanting
It
some
said,
money
well,
off us.
No, it's free. For context, the Red Bull Gaming Sphere is a
Free.
content studio,
Nothing's free,
tournament
dude.
venue, and creator space for the gaming community in the heart of East London. You can find more information here. So what? Exclusive access to the Red Bull Gaming Sphere to film and create a podcast episode. Red Bull
We'll give you
Gaming
a
Sphere.
room with a mic jack in it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd take it. I'd take it. But
But you already need
But-
tickets to get in.
whoa.
so-
Well, but
Whoa.
It's like Red Bull. It's Red Bull Baron Play.
But listen, you get exclusive access to set up and host your podcast at the Gaming Sphere, opportunity to invite fans to watch while creating the podcast, and this is the best bit. This is the best bit. An invite to the official Red Bull Riot VIP after party in the evening.
Oh, after party.
Faker's going to be there. All the League of Legends characters are going to be
So
there.
even if you don't get in to watch the League of Legends final, you can go to the VIP after party for Red Bull. Come on.
It's gonna be it's like Red Bull everywhere. It's like, here's a shirt. Like, that's
do you know what, right? I could fake it. I've got 5 friends that want to do it, and we could beat the veteran gamers for that time.
Go for it. You're not using this.
I'm Ben because I'm on here regular now. I could get an Eric impersonator or a Stu impersonator.
Totally.
We could try our
Just
best.
have someone real loud and talk like this. God damn it.
Yeah, that, to be fair, so we could get tickets to it. Hey, if anything happens, Stu, just remember I'm your guy.
Listen, right? If you do get tickets, if you get tickets, you could. I'd quite happily forward you this email and say, yeah, we're really interested, and we're going to have some of our team coming down, and I'll just put your names on there.
Yeah.
So it looks pretty cool as well, know.
The tickets went up. Within like 5 seconds, you just couldn't get the tickets. Anyway, the bots, like tickets available now are like 300, 400 quid. And all of our mates were like, no, forget that. So we've come up with an ingenious idea of how to sneak in.
Okay, we're liking this.
What we've done is the O2 Arena has a cinema that's playing the League of Legends on this big screen in the cinema. And it's in the same building as where the arena is. So we're going to go. Say we're there for the cinema, League of Legends, and then we're just going to go in and then just hopefully just run up some stairs and try and get in. We've looked at it, and if not, O2, because we want to see this guy called Faker, who's like the best mid laner in the world. It's very sad. I'm aware of it. But if not, we've always said, because we were going to pump in a couple £100 each, we're like, look, what we could do is you could walk on top of the O2, and we could walk on top of the O2 while League of Legends final is on, and we are above Faker, the best player in the world of League of Legends.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just so. I know it's pathetically sad, but
no way, man. You do what you got to do to get near the action.
I just cannot get these tickets. Linkin Park are doing the halftime show, so I'm pulling all my connections from like Glastonbury and stuff. Like, hey, I'll interview Linkin Park. Just get me in the venue. I'll do anything. I'll be there at the popcorn.
I'll suck
makers.
your dick, man.
I'm not gonna.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's from Menace to Society. The real ones out there know what I'm doing.
You see, the other plan is as well. If we dress up so well as League of Legends characters, we could pretend we're part of the crew.
There you go, man. You just gotta walk in with confidence, man.
Another reference by a dude that no one understands.
A little late on that, but it's okay.
But yeah, that's been my week. Been trying to get these League of Legends tickets, and I just cannot.
Well,
we're rooting for you, bud.
Well, if you're struggling, you can have second best because you can go to the Red Bull Gaming Sphere on the League of Legends day and go to the VIP after party. I mean, what more could you ask for?
That's true. But yeah, that's been my week basically. Fighting League of Legends bots, and I've lost. They are victorious.
Well, that's like everything. Bloody any sort of tickets these days. If they're popular, you're fucked, aren't you? Really?
I know. But yeah, what about you?
Pretty much it.
How's your busy week?
Well, it's school, very busy as always, but I had a thread go viral. So I've never had a thread get more than like 3 likes ever. So I was like amazed when I woke up and there were like 10 notifications, but the 10 notifications were like within each of them there was like a bunch of activity behind them. So I'm not used to this whole like something actually happening with one of my threads. Here's what happened. I went to Steam and I was looking at some MMO. I don't even remember which MMO it is. There was a new update for it and I was looking at the reviews for it and they're mostly I think they're very positive, this game in general. But one of the reviews was negative and I was curious about it and I looked at it and it said, I should have blurred out the username, but whatever.
Do it, whatever, as if they're going to be listening. No,
it doesn't matter. I don't want to take any chances. Like, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is, they had spent 491 hours playing this game. And the review is thumbs down, and this is what it says. Honestly, I really enjoyed the game until I got to the highest tier, and it got pay to win real fast. 600 likes on that. And then over the next 24 hours, it got another like 800 likes. So I'm at 1,400, almost 1,500 likes right now for that tweet. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, that was really cool. And then my inbox got filled with all these people who were like, no, you're wrong. Pay to win sucks. He's right to give it a negative review and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, look, you're literally being comic book guy right now, okay? In case people don't know, on The Simpsons, they did the Poochie the dog episode, and this exchange happens between Bart and the comic book guy. Oh, wait, there's audio. Hang on a second. It's going to take 3 seconds to skip past this ad. Okay, here we go.
It's just that the fans of the show liked it.
Last night's Itsy and Scratchy was, without a doubt, the worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.
That's what these people
Hey,
are
I know
doing.
it wasn't great, but what right do you have to complain?
As a loyal viewer, I feel they owe me.
What? They've given you thousands of hours of entertainment for free. What could they possibly owe you? I mean, if anything, you owe them.
Worst episode ever.
So that feels like the mindset is that these people are like, they owe me, they shouldn't be given. Motherfucker, you got 500 hours of a free game and now you're mad because it went pay to win after 500 hours. I don't know what to tell you. That's crazy.
It was 600, it would have been a thumbs up.
Yeah.
No, if they only had to go, if they didn't have to pay to win, because the people are making this argument. They're like, it should be cosmetics only. I'm like, dude, games don't make a lot of money on cosmetics alone. Certainly not big MMOs. I mean, but okay, fine. Very few games can sustain themselves.
Hats.
Very few games can sustain themselves. Hats is a funny joke, but what games are actually sustaining themselves just with hats?
I think it did. Team Fortress 2, they made fucking
where the fuck is
millions
Team
of
Fortress
hats.
2 right now? They
Yeah,
did,
but
but that's not the
millions
thing
of
anymore.
hats.
Yeah, they
I
did.
see
You're
your
right.
point,
But-
on that, but it's interesting. At what point is the level where you think it is too pay to win? It's not acceptable, and where do you reckon?
Wait a second. Whoa. I'm not saying pay to win is acceptable. No, by no means do I think pay to win is acceptable. I'm baffled by the mindset that says, I'm going to play this game for 500 hours because I believe that when I get to the ultimate level, then I'll be having fun. If you're not having fun after 20 hours, stop fucking playing. What are y'all doing?
Have you ever played a Final Fantasy game?
Dude,
Takes about 20 hours to get to the good bit.
Play MMOs all the time. I know the drill.
Tutorial
And that's
engine,
why
20
when I get to the level cap, I stop playing because that's when it gets grindy. And it's like, that's the end game. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers are so entitled. And maybe it's me. Maybe it's because I just started another playthrough of New World today. Like, I like the actual gameplay loop of killing things and skinning animals and chopping down trees and whatnot. But a lot of people, that's just the horrible part you got to get through in order to get to the real stuff later on so you can do the PvP and whatnot. And I mean, look, I'm sorry. If you want to play a PvP MMO, either you got to pay for it or you're going to have to, like, I don't know. I agree that pay to win is a terrible model, but it's the irony of just playing a game for 500 hours and then giving it a negative review. I'm just like, what?
I don't know. I can kind of see it from both sides. I can kind of see
you
it
don't
from
play
both sides.
games you hate.
No, that's true. But I can see it from both sides. I can see it from your side. It's like, you know what, you've got 500 hours for nothing. You know, if you haven't bought any of the shit that you can buy or the cosmetic stuff or the clothes or horses or pets or whatever the fuck they're selling you with those 25 different types of currency, right? I can kind of see where you're coming from. You've got a lot of game out for 500 hours. But I can kind of also see it from the other players' point of view, dude. These people who are just completely addicted to these things and have put all that time and effort in and would expect that they could do the end game, but, you know, they might have to do a bit more grinding or a longer grind or whatever, but to get to a point where it's unobtainable unless you pay actual real-world cash. And then we don't know how much this is. Is this a lot of cash? Do you know what I mean? Is this like hundreds and hundreds of dollars they suddenly have to start paying? Or is it a flat $25 and you get everything you need? I mean, what are we talking here? We don't know the context, do we, to an extent?
I mean, to an extent, that's fair. But on the other hand, it's like, I don't understand. Okay, look. I just don't relate to the mindset that says I'm only going to enjoy this game after playing it for 500 hours. That just blows my mind. Or like, even if it only was half that time, like they spent 250 hours getting to the part where it was, you know, actually pay to win. And then they kept playing even though they didn't want to or whatever.
Well, let me put it to you this way.
Yeah, I think it's the point. Was he having fun? And then like he was like, right, I'm right near the end. And then he's like, what
he was.
The hell?
He said it was enjoyable until it got paid.
Yeah, and then he's like, what the hell? Why have they forced this on me? So I can see that side of it. But then if he, like you say, if he was like, oh, I'm not sure about this game, and then puts 500 hours and he's like, nah, this ain't it, and then negative review, like I can see that side. So I see, but I'm with Stu. I see both sides.
Well, let me put it to you this way, Duke. Right?
Good Fred.
Let me give you an analogy here. Say you watched 5 series of Breaking Bad.
Yes.
And you got to the final 2 episodes, and then they went, if you want to watch these, it's $1,000 to watch the final 2 episodes to find out what happens. How would you feel?
I would be frustrated, no doubt, but I would still probably say like the show is generally good because every episode that I saw I liked, and it does suck.
You'd be fuming.
I would be fuming. You're right. I would be fuming. But I still don't think it would be fair to give the show a negative review that way.
No, and there's a reason.
There's a reason why we don't fund TV shows that way. And again, I'm not arguing that pay to win is a good strategy. I hate it. I just feel like it's the natural development of a capitalist system and a bunch of kids who have too much money. And so therefore we are in the middle of this, you know, nightmare where, but it's a free game. Nothing is free. I don't understand how people think that it's going to continue being free and should continue being free. They're getting their money from somewhere.
But a lot of these MMOs do rely.
It's Bob on the line.
I know it is Bob there. They rely on advertising and they rely on cosmetic shit that they sell to people, and they make more than enough money off all that stuff.
I mean,
so to add in an additional layer of, and by the way, when you get to level 500 or 500 hours in, you're going to have to pay if you want to go any further. And it's a long time, isn't it? You've been playing that for all. You're very much invested in that game.
Right, okay, but then there's the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy says, I'm going to keep putting money or time into this thing, even though I know it's not a good idea, because I've already put so much time and money in.
Yeah, you're fully invested.
You want to get your money's worth. But that's ridiculous, because then you're just throwing good money after bad. You know better, and you keep throwing money or time into it. And that's, I mean, again, it's wrong for the game company to exploit that. I'm not pretending like it's not. But on the other hand, at some point as gamers, we need to say, hey, you know what? I'm cutting my losses here. I'm not going to spend any more time or money on this thing. So I don't want to be too mean. I get the fact that, pay to win does suck. I guess I have this healthy skepticism when I look at an MMO and I think, okay, how are they going to try to get money out of me? And as soon as I realize what the game is, I'm like, you know, Rocket League. Look, I played 5,000 hours of Rocket League, and I've given the company maybe like $40. Yeah. Like, I'm not paying for stuff all the time, even though that's how they make their money.
I play Clash of Clans. I've played it for like 6 years every time, and they are just the level I'm at. They are basically like, dude, come on, drop £5 and you do. I'm just like, no, I will
absolutely
not do that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, it takes me 20 days what it would take someone 10 seconds to do.
Of course.
But I am just not dropping a $5 on it. I refuse. So,
yes.
Well,
it's principle.
Ben.
Yes.
I'm just going to say one thing to you at this point. FIFA. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Rob.
True.
And you already paid for that game.
I know. Every year you keep buying it.
But see now he's learned from that situation. So he's not. Are you still doing that, Ben? Or is that in the past?
I did not buy the new FIFA.
See, he's cutting the cord here. And that's the thing is like, look, and again, like maybe I shouldn't be nasty at him, and to the extent it is kind of just silly to be like, 500 hours, but it's a negative review. But on the other hand, I do still believe it. But I recognize it. Like, look, if people want to see something change in the whole pay-to-win model, then I guess it does make sense to give games negative reviews and to make it known. But the main thing you do is stop giving them money.
Don't give them money. But also, it's quite clever, that, isn't it? Because let's be honest.
In a way.
Really, they're punishing. they're punishing the most hardcore of players.
They're exploiting the most hardcore of players. Yes.
Yeah, they're not
absolutely.
exploiting the casual, do a couple of hours here and a
because
couple
they know
of hours
those
there.
people won't bother giving money. As soon as it turns,
Right.
they just
They
walk
want
away
their
because they're smart.
hardcore.
So
I've got
what?
your
But
hook.
that's the question of what is hardcore then? What does it mean to be hardcore? And what is it you're looking for in these games? Because if you're looking for PvP, there's free MOBAs that basically, I mean, there's nothing you can do in an MMO PvP that you're not really doing basically in a MOBA, right? I mean, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. The whole point of League of Legends is you take your hero and you're going up against enemy heroes. And it's the same basic gameplay as in an MMO. The difference is that, there's all this other PvE content and there's like, you have more of an open world and stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like people get there. I think it's FOMO. I think it's this idea that like there's people at this elite level having fun. You go on Destiny 2, forget trying to play PvP Destiny 2 unless you're grinding 700 hours to get elite gear or paying for it or whatever. I don't know how it works. But I looked at that. I spent 5 minutes in that. I was like, fuck this. I couldn't last 5 seconds in a PvP round. And I was like, that's not, and if they're having fun doing Destiny 2 PvP, fine. I can play a shooter PvP for free. There's like 20 COD clones out there I can play. So I think it's this mindset that the games come out with. It's like, this is the most extreme experience. And there's people, streaming and showing how much fun they're having. And everyone's like getting worked up. Oh, I want that too. But, and a lot of times I'll bet these streams get sponsored by the company or the company does a stream and it's like, look at all the cool stuff we have and people get all worked up and then they get into it and they're like, oh, wait, I'm going to have to pay to get that shit. It's fucked up. But instead of being like, okay, I'm just going to walk away because they lied to me through their ad, I'm going to put in the time and grind it and that's fucked up.
I think you're right. Like I said, I'm not fully disagreeing with you here, but I do kind of see it a little bit from both sides, and I think
that's a good thread though. That's how you get blow up. You get both sides arguing, and then boom.
And it wasn't even my intention really to get an argument going. And one person said it's possible, or they said like I think the developers changed the model after people invested some time, and I was like, okay, I hadn't thought about that, and I appreciate that perspective because I hadn't considered that point of view, but I don't really think that's it. I mean, it might be, but who knows? I just, at the end of the day, I do want to recognize where other people are coming from, and I want to ridicule people who do things I think are silly. So whatever.
And that's why I don't play these terrible games. So there you go.
I don't blame you. All right, let's talk about what we have been playing.
Yeah, let's
with a little bit of what you've been playing.
Where are you going? Story time's over, isn't it?
What you been playing?
What you been playing? What you been playing?
Is Ben going first? Guest of honor?
Yeah, one.
Go ahead, Ben. What you been playing?
Ooh, I've been playing. I had my girlfriend and her friends around, and we were playing Mario Kart this weekend.
Oh, nice. Which Mario Kart is this?
Well, the deluxe.
Eight? Is it 8?
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I do love how they've called it the deluxe edition, and then when you log in, they go, "Oh, by the way, there's a pass you can buy for 25 quid." I'm like, "It's the deluxe edition! Come on!" Like,
yeah,
what?
really? That's not a patch. That's a scam. Speaking of
did he not want them to make money?
Like, you can't do this. Like, what is it? So it's deluxe below ultimate, or is where is ranking these? Like, deluxe sounds like you buy that game, you're getting everything.
Yeah, you do.
No,
it does sound like the Game of the Year Ultimate Edition or whatever, isn't it?
Yeah, like, come on, man.
So what's deluxe about it? Why is it called the Deluxe Edition? Do we know?
I feel like because it was on the Wii U originally, that game, and then they ported it to the Switch.
So it's more deluxe.
Yeah, they were like, oh yeah, we've added some extra maps to it. I was like, okay, well, it's deluxe, that's the end. And then later on, they were like, yo, this Mario Kart thing's quite popular. Should we just produce more? And I guarantee you, in Nintendo, they had the discussion, but it's called Deluxe.
Hey, no. Here's the conversation they had. They said the conversation was, these people bought the Deluxe Edition. What else bullshit can we get them to buy?
Yeah, exactly.
See a right sucker coming this way.
How can we screw them for more money?
Yeah, exactly. Buy the Deluxe Edition.
Super Deluxe. Platinum Edition, Gold, Silver. Every game now has that. Don't just pre-order the regular game. Pre-order the enhanced bonus Ultra.
Yeah.
And get the Mega Deluxe add-on pack when you first open
it's
it up.
shocking, it's shocking. But
With
we
a free
played it on the
amiibo.
Switch, and I've not played. I used to play it on the Wii, like 4-player, and you have the steering wheel, and it was a bit jank, but it was fun. And the Switch, we did it where we had the tilt controls enabled, because I can during stick the girls, they weren't like very used to the Wii. So they.
What are you saying? Girls are rubbish at video games.
No,
Is that what you're saying here, Ben?
They weren't used to the Mario Kart style.
It's the fact that they're new players relative. They don't play a lot of
Yeah,
games.
they're more like
That's the
Animal
thing.
Kingdom and
Noobs, they were
that type of
noobs.
stuff. Yeah.
And they were girls.
No. If she listens to this, she'd beat me, so she's all right.
He plays different kinds of games usually.
They were driving it like how you normally would, like on a controller. And I was doing the tilt, and I gave everyone the good, like nice controllers, and I had the worst one.
Oh, that's
The
a
tilt
good
mechanic-
friend right there, man.
The tilt mechanic on that. I remember I bought one of the original Switches, and there must be like a tilt where it must have been broken. Because it slightly leans to the left, so I'm like, I have to pull it to the right like that just to be driving straight.
Wow,
I
that's
was
crazy.
having but you know what? Mario Kart with 3 or 4 players, it is absolutely hilarious.
Because you're not too
Like,
bothered by who's winning. It's all about
no
the
one takes it
fun
too
and
se-
throwing down banana
it's
peels or
fine.
hitting them with his eggshell or turtle
Yeah, not
shells.
too
Or
Do you
whatever.
know? The last time we went to Arcade Club, up in the adults only bit, they have
Naked
switches
people?
set up with a massive screen. So on a massive screen, and we played Bomberman. We had a Bomberman tournament, and we also played loads of Mario Kart, and it was just so brilliant on this huge, massive screen with a projector and all the controllers, and it was just so much fun.
That's kind of cool to have it be adults only. Hey kids, you would love this enormous screen,
Yeah,
but
you
fuck
would, but you're not
off,
allowed.
you can't get
Yeah,
up here.
fuck off. Yeah, only adults only. No kids
Yeah.
up in this bit.
The kids are like, oh, what's in the adults only?
Yeah,
They're
why can't
imagining
we
it's
get
like
in there?
porn and
Looking
shit,
through.
and it's all
Yeah.
just people just playing Mario Kart and like talking about
Bomberman.
taxes and shit. Yeah.
But
don't
no,
wanna be an
it's
adult.
really fun. I do feel like the way they've done it is I've noticed if you lag behind, they give you every opportunity to catch up. So
Give you
like
a little
one of
something,
them
something
wasn't-
if you're
yeah,
not
it
doing
is
great.
nice because like one of them really wasn't quite grasping it, but like they were always around us. Like they
Yeah.
weren't gonna win it, but it
Right.
is good that they do.
You're
make
not,
you
it's not
feel
like Forza.
competitive.
Right. In
Yeah.
a Forza race, you end up in the back.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking good night.
That's
Like,
it.
you might as well
Yeah,
not even
yeah,
be in the
yeah.
race. It's so
It is very
pointless.
forgiving. It's very forgiving, but if you're at the front, it's extremely punishing as well.
Yeah, well,
And
sure.
it is
That's
fun.
that
'cause
balancing.
It's just like RNG. Like you get I was in the lead, got a coin, last lap, last corner, I was in a red shell, blue shell, and they just from first to sixth, just like that. Like, but no,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
brilliant. When the Nintendo made Mario Kart back in the day, like 64 era and all that.
Yep.
There's a reason every console they release one.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, definitely, because
It's a
it's a
fun game,
massive
it's a
seller.
good seller,
and
yeah.
everybody, even grandma, can have a go
Yeah,
at this,
yeah,
can't she?
right.
You know what I mean? Everyone can have a play, even if they're shit at
Absolutely.
it.
And it's fun for adults to play with kids too. That's another big
Yeah.
selling point for Mario.
Yeah,
Kart.
definitely.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah,
And
that's
some of
fine.
those kids are fucking ninjas at this game.
Oh,
Well, of
unbelievable.
course. Kids will have the time and energy to put and
Yeah,
focus.
they do.
Like kids get so sucked in a way that adults tend to be like, unless you're playing an MMO and you put 500 hours into it or something. But it's funny because
Well,
even with 5,000 hours in Rocket League, I'm not a ninja really. Like I'm not amazing or anything because I'm not playing with that like trying to sharpen my skills. I'm just having fun.
Well, I
and
think
goofing
there's
around.
part of that, and I'm not trying to be offensive to you here, Duke.
You can't hurt my
But-
feelings.
But as you get older, your brain
yeah.
doesn't
Oh, yeah.
soak that shit up as well, and you don't
No, I
build
feel you.
like
Yeah.
kids. Kids
And-
build all those new synapses and connections and all that
and we
shit.
happen to have jobs, and so at the end
Yeah.
of my
Yeah, exactly.
job workday, I come home and I'm just like, And meanwhile, here's
Yeah.
these kids, just fucking 13 years old, come home from middle school, and their hands are all
Oh,
lightning fast. Their
yeah.
brains haven't been working all day because they're just staring at
Exactly.
their phones all
I
day.
played a game
These
of
kids
League.
today,
Yeah.
meh.
I played a game of League, and one of my thing, my username is 95, so they can work out how old I am. And I got
Ah.
absolutely wrecked in this guy. Just to let you know, I'm 15 years old, and you just
Yeah.
got owned, old man. And I was like, rude. I was
Yeah,
like,
but then
no,
next
this
time you win, are you going to be like,
15-year-old.
yeah, I just beat your ass and I'm like 40, fuck
Oh, no,
off.
I
It's
was
like, whatever.
fuming. I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I was
well.
literally there like, yeah, there's no way I could beat
Can
that
I-
guy. He's just
can I
like-
just
Yeah, and
say,
you'd
I
be like,
don't
yeah, well,
think-
I've kissed a girl, so, what do you want,
I don't think Ben's 40. Can I
Well,
just
no, I'm
clarify?
saying, but that's what I would say. But 40 something. Anyway,
Mario Kart,
Mario
thumbs
Kart,
up.
yes. Good fun.
It's a big
Thank you,
thumbs
Ben.
up in it, Mario Kart. You can't go wrong.
Always solid.
Of
Yeah, you
course.
can't go wrong.
Yeah. Stu, what
talking
you got?
Talking of racing, I noticed on Game Pass that Riders Republic had appeared.
Okay.
And when this first came out, it looked kind of cool. Are you both aware as what this is, Riders Republic?
Is that the Ubisoft one?
It is. So it came out, and it's basically Forza Horizon.
Okay.
No, it's kind of Forza Horizon with mountain bikes, BMXs, wingsuits, bloody powered roller like skateboard.
Oh God. Sorry, I don't know why that happened.
And everything in between. So it's kind of like
Giving steep. Do you remember Steep?
Yeah,
Snow
well,
White?
it's kind of a bit like that. It's like if Red Bull Racing did Forza Horizon, I think is probably the best way to do it.
This episode of the Veteran Gamers brought to you by Red Bull.
It
Get
is.
wings
It
on
is.
your ass or whatever.
Red Bull Baron Place. See you there. The League of Legends final. We'll be there.
But
This man
honestly,
does not speak for all of us.
if it wasn't for riding mountain bikes down a hill, you'd think you were in Forza Horizon. The map, the way it's set up,
Yeah.
like there's some woman at the beginning going, "Hey, I'm going to be your trainer. I'll take you to all the events."
So what you're saying is
literally-
Ubisoft took someone else's game and was like, "Yeah, let's just do that," and they just did
Yeah.
the same thing. Imagine if they tried doing that with Breath of the Wild. Oh wait, they did that. Imagine if
No,
they
but
tried.
they-
Oh wait, they do that all
but-
the time. Yeah.
But obviously, the difference here is it's not cars. So they
Right.
didn't-
Well, that's
no
very
cars.
just completely. Yeah.
But,
But
other than
is
that,
it fun though? Is it fun?
Kind of.
That is Ubisoft games in
Yeah,
a
I
nutshell.
know. No, I love
right there.
Ubisoft. I am not kind
I'm
of at all with
not-
Ubisoft. Why isn't it fun? What's not fun?
Because I don't know it. I mean, I know it's not meant to be a sim racer, but it's
Yeah.
so forgiving. I mean,
Yeah, that's
you're-
great. What's the problem?
You're riding this bike down a hill, you can whack into shit and nothing happens. I'm like, you're doing about 100 miles an hour on a bloody
Would
mountain
you really
bike
want to
down
wipe
a-
out and have to start all over?
I guess.
Did you hit
I
a
don't know.
pebble? Come on.
It's got a rewind feature,
Yes,
very similar
good.
again to Forza Horizon, but doesn't work as well. It doesn't work properly.
Okay.
And what? Right, in Forza Horizon, right, with rewind, when you rewind, everybody else rewinds.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can sort of go back to where you fucked up and have another go. This, everyone just keeps on going, so it's like it doesn't matter that you can rewind because you're miles behind.
So that's even
everybody.
on the single player like that?
Yeah, the minute you crash, you're miles
ridiculous.
behind everyone.
That's
Oh,
frustrating.
that's the way it appeared. Maybe it was me thinking, I don't know. And then it's one of these as well. A minute you finish an event, it's like another 2 events open up. It's like, oh, you
yeah.
can go here and do this.
There's
You
a
can go here
million
and do
things to
this.
do. I'll tell you, that's the thing
There
that
is.
gets me, man. I see a game and it's like, here's 30 quests for you. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm here for. So that's-
So basically, you put what event you want to partake in, and then it's meant to show up on the map, or that's the way I figured it. So
Yeah.
I put the wingsuit on, assuming all the wingsuit stuff would appear on the maps, and it
Yeah.
didn't.
No.
So I don't know what I was meant to. So I tried doing it, and I just kept crashing. That which was kind of funny. He kept doing like a pratfall with the wingsuit on. So that was, and it had rockets on it. So it was like
Oh,
rocket power.
sweet. Dude, you're making me want to play this. I'm looking at the dude doing
I know.
backflips, and you're talking about rocket suits with wings. Oh, that sounds
The other
great.
thing I'd say is when you're doing the mountain biking downhill, the tricks seem really limited. And you don't, I couldn't figure out, like, because it's like you can do a spin if you use the right bumper, or a spin to the left if you use a left bumper.
Yeah.
Then if you do press something else, obviously you do a backflip. But there was,
How many tricks can you do on a bike?
well,
Like,
this was the issue.
Superman.
Tony Hawk, you
uh,
can do 100,000.
There didn't seem to be a way to combine tricks. So it's not like you could do, if you had enough airtime, it's not like you could do a backflip and then a spin.
Right.
And other stuff, which is like Tony Hawk's. The whole point of Tony Hawk's is to string loads
I mean,
of
Ben makes a good point, though. Like, a
combos.
skateboard is a lot more versatile than a bicycle.
Yeah.
It's
But
got to
it
be
just
hard to
seems-
do more than one trick at a time on a bike.
I guess, but they just didn't seem. Well, no, I mean, have you watched these BMX like
No, I haven't.
freestylers? Some of the
I mean-
crazy shit they do is ridiculous.
And you
But
do
in
want to
this-
be able to do that in a video game. I mean, that's the whole point of the
Yeah.
video game is to not be
real one
very
is
realistic.
You go on a bike, you jump off the mountain, you have a wingsuit, and then you land and do whatever the next.
A
thing
swimming
you do.
pool full of jello.
Yeah.
I feel like if they're gonna do this thing, they should, and they're doing it in a crazy,
Probably just
like
get there.
over the top way.
Yeah.
it felt like they didn't go fully over the top. Does that make sense?
Right,
It
right.
like,
Yeah. Pick a lane. Either be realistic or be completely not. Yeah.
Just be completely ridiculous. The stuff you can do is ridiculous. And I think I would have appreciated it way more if you could do these completely
just wiped out hard,
out there, over the top tricks and flips and shit. You know what I mean? It's
I hear you.
It's all right. It looks nice. You know what I mean? And
it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, in terms of just like racing and like doing a couple of simple tricks. If you were looking for a lot of tricks, I can see that being disappointing. I can totally see myself like Steep. I played for like 20 minutes. I was really into it. And then I was like, all right, I'm kind of bored now. So I could totally see myself getting to that point with this game.
Yeah. I did. Whenever I go skiing, the week before, I am on Steep every day. Like, skiing gives me right in the mood, and then I'm gonna keep playing this game, and I never touch it again.
Never. Like, who does I'll give him his due. Who does a forward flip on a racer?
I know, right?
I mean,
That's intense.
This guy's doing tricks on a racer, so I guess that is something slightly different. And I'm gonna say something else here, right?
Okay, say it.
I've seen people who ride racers. And they always have fucking skin tight lycra on. What is this dude wearing?
We want to see your crotch more, please.
Yeah, man. What is going on? I've seen what those guys wear, and it's not this. Not unless you're just some Joe Blogs who's having his face.
What the fuck he wants is a COVID fit. Ad? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
What do you think to Ubisoft as the general? Because they've just been in the news. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't know whether I have.
Oh, so their shares was at $20 like during peak COVID, and now it's dropped down to just $1. And they've completely then just cancelled. Not cancelled. They've moved the Assassin's Creed to next year because it's a buggy mess, and basically they are so reliant on that game. Like, that is their do or die game. If that does not make it, they are basically bust. Like,
and Outlaws was supposed to be the big rejuvenator, and that apparently didn't do as well as they should have.
Million copies. And like for Star Wars license, that is like
that's not
shocking.
great.
Everything I've been reading
I still
want
to play it. I mean, I bet I would like that game. I think it didn't have enough pizzazz, enough Zork.
They did a few things wrong with the Star Wars game. They made it too expensive. They got loads of negative publicity because of that.
Yeah.
And then it ended up it was a buggy mess, and people were like, "You're charging me a premium price for a bag of shit."
What was the last Ubisoft game you guys? Because obviously you say you like them. What was the last Ubisoft game you guys really did enjoy that you thought?
Oh god,
the Eternals one, the Breath of the Wild knockoff. Oh, that was so good. But I mean, that was a while ago. I'm not going to pretend like that was anything.
I think the last Ubisoft game I played and really enjoyed was the Assassin's Creed London one, whatever that was called.
Yeah, I'm around that era as well. Like every game, like the Watch Dogs series never got me. The Far Cry, I get the Far Cry series, but like after Far Cry 3, 4, I was like, okay, I get it. I know you do love the towers and the hunt and all that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. It's just Ubisoft. When they were listing off like the last 15 games they've made, and like the one that did it for me was Skull and Bones. They did that pirate game, and they called it a triple A game, and they pumped in like not like millions.
It took years. It took years and years to come out.
Yeah, and like they pumped that in, and it was a complete flop. Like. Because I listened to these podcasts about it, I was like, wow. So I look at the stock market and stuff about it, and I was like, wow, Ubisoft really could. This next year could fold. Like, I would not be surprised if they...
See, and I always thought they were diversified enough so that one game wasn't going to cause the bump, but I mean... It sounds like they keep getting bigger and bigger. That's the thing. These companies get so big, they need a Hail Mary to save them.
You know what we've all said though? They just rip off things. Like what's the most unique thing they've done? We've got something that no one else has got.
No.
They just always.
You see, when they brought out Assassin's Creed originally, they were like the trendsetters. That was like something nobody had seen before.
Yeah, the hype was so real about it. I remember it.
And that formula worked, and then they just said, we'll make all our games like that.
Exactly, and that's the trouble, because what you get but it's similar to like new consoles. You get into the laws of diminishing returns.
Yeah,
because it's sort of every game's the same, and there's nothing new being brought to it.
And I'm certainly not buying this shit new. I'm waiting for it to get 70% off, and then I'll pay $20 for it. Yeah.
Well, everyone knows Ubisoft when they bring out 6 months. It'll be down.
Oh,
like
totally.
$20 or something
Well, that's
like
true.
that.
A lot of video games on the PC. At
Yeah,
least.
true.
I don't
But
know about
Ubisoft,
console,
I
but-
always know.
Yeah.
Just wait a bit and
Right.
they'll drop.
And if you can wait long enough for that process to start, then you have a game from a year ago. Okay, you play that, and then the game that came out today, in a year, you'll be ready for another one, and that'll be.
'Cause
You
I,
know.
I was looking at the licenses as well, like this week, because I was like so intrigued by like how they've completely like, because it is like do or die. They've got Rainbow Six Siege was the last one that was really unique. Like it was a close quarters game, 5-man, really, really exciting. That was a good. And the Division, I love the Division. I know you did as well, Duke.
Yeah. Oh
Bits
yeah,
and
I love
bobs.
those games, both of them.
But like they've got the Tom Clancy, like that area, you know, the little spies. They haven't done anything with that in years. Like,
No, Splinter Cell. What was the last Splinter Cell?
Splinter Cell, yeah. Like, so I don't. Yeah, I'm just intrigued. I didn't know if you.
Yeah.
But they're almost unwilling to take a risk, aren't they? They're kind of.
Well, I think most companies are like that. I mean, what the
Well,
fuck is
you
Rockstar
can't
taking
be
a risk on lately?
Yeah, but to be fair to Rockstar, they
Hey,
know.
Red Dead 1, baby, it's coming PC. Big risk. Will it sell?
They know they're gonna make billions off any game they release
If they get it right. But that's why it's
but-
taken them so long to come out with new games, because they
Yeah,
want to
but they
make sure
usually-
they get it right.
And they usually do get it right because they
They do,
innovate.
that's true,
Even
right.
even though it's another GTA game, we know there's going to be stuff in that game that we've never seen before. There's going to
Yeah,
be
that's fair.
interesting. I mean, when they did GTA 5, let's not forget, you know, they did that cool. Everyone just carries on doing the shit.
Yeah.
And you can zoom in and zoom out. And when you zoom back in on someone, they're doing something completely different to the last time you zoomed in on them.
Yeah.
Do you know
But
what I
I
mean?
don't
They're
know if
not
that was
just
a
lying in
selling
bed.
point exactly. I mean, that was a nice little feature, and it was very cool. And I think it is emblematic of what Rockstar does well in terms of like making a living world. But I think the actual thing that makes money is their online stuff. People paying.
Oh, definitely.
And so now we come back to this whole pay to win thing, which
we do to an extent, but then Rockstar purposely don't release that till about 3 months after the main game.
And there's
Which is
plenty
always
to
a
do
cool
without
thing.
paying for it. Like you don't have to pay to have fun in Red Dead 2 or even GTA Online. It's just
No,
that
you don't.
there are people who do really like getting into it, and there's cosmetics, but there's also like pay to win elements, I'm sure. So I think they find a good balance between them.
They do, and like I say, that shit doesn't come till 3 or 4 months after the main game's released
That's
because
true.
they want people to play the game before they play
because
that
the game's
online
worth
stuff.
playing. It's not just about the online shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
that's
know that. Although they make probably hand over fist money on that,
Yeah.
they make a lot of money just on the game alone, just for people wanting to play the single player.
Sure.
No,
So-
I know it was your short game you were talking about. I'm just intrigued when you look at Ubisoft, like this game, just everything Ubisoft are doing. I'm like, so intrigued. But
yeah.
Ubisoft
can you
is
see
an
yourself keep
interesting
playing
company.
it then, Stu? Will you keep playing it, or do you reckon you're done? Like,
No, I'm done. Do you know what's
every
weird?
Ubisoft game.
Do you know what's weird, right? I actually didn't play it this week. I played it last week for last week's show and forgot. I'd play, and I only realized when I went on Xbox to play something else, and it was on my like carry on playing list. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did play that. Forgot all about that.
I forgot.
And that's the trouble. It's forgettable. And I think
Yeah.
that's the issue.
Sure.
That's the issue. I'm sure everybody wants to know about the new Baldwin film. There you go. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So it's me
yeah.
then.
Yeah, it's you.
Right. So, here's the thing. Kingdom Come Deliverance was on sale this week for like $5.
Damn.
And I've played this before. And I didn't get on with it.
Duke,
Yes.
sorry, can you just, your keyboard is
I know. I'm sorry.
loud.
I know it's very loud. My bad. I just wanted to try to type it up real quick and then whatever, but I should have muted it. Okay, so Kingdom Come Deliverance is, I'll try to do better with that from now on. Sorry.
Okay.
I had played this before and I couldn't get on with it. It felt janky and weird, but in the years after that, I just keep seeing people on Reddit like, oh my God, Kingdom Come, what's the best open world game? Kingdom Come Deliverance, it's the most amazing thing, oh my God. And I was like, okay, you know what? $5. I refunded this last time I bought it, but I'm going to give it a try. And if I don't like it, I'm not going to refund it again because, you know, whatever, $5. So I played it again and God, I'm so divided because I saw a post on Reddit that explains pretty much exactly how I feel. I really want to like this game. There's a lot about this game that's really, really good. The world, the storytelling, these things are all really good.
I've got to say, can I just say, that opening cutscene's brutal with a woman.
The whole opening of the game is brutal. The reason I stopped playing it last time is because at one of the earliest missions is your dad's a blacksmith, and your dad is like, I put it on the most brutal part at the very start here, yeah. Your dad is saying, like, go get money from the guy who owes me money. I gave him a hammer and some nails and he never paid, so go get the money from him. And you go to get the money and he's like, fuck off, I'm not giving you anything. So you have to either sneak into his house and take something or beat him up. And he comes at you and I was like, ugh. Last time he beat the crap out of me because I couldn't figure out the combat fast enough. And then I went into his house to try to steal stuff and I got caught and he beat me up again and I died, I think, or something. So that's when I was like, fuck this, I don't know how the mechanics are working. But this time I was like, I'm gonna figure out the mechanics. So I go back in and I finally figured out the combat. So I beat him up and he's like, all right, I just don't have any money, leave me alone. So you still have to go into his house. But once you beat him up, he's not going to try to stop you at that point. So I got that, and I got through some other stuff. And there's some, the story is basically like intrigue about 15th century European monarchs fighting for, and apparently it's based on the actual like Holy Roman Empire, King Wenceslas, this guy in Hungary and that guy in Poland and all this actual history stuff. And so in that sense, and your parents get killed, and then once again it becomes the thing of like The Simpsons said. Hang on a second, I got the sound clip. Where is it? Movies aren't stupid. Yeah, here we go.
Movies aren't stupid. They fill us with romance and hatred and revenge fantasies. Your
parents get killed by this bald dude, and you're just like, I'm gonna get revenge for my parents. But it's this game has costs. Right? This game has that you can fail missions. Like I failed when I played it the first time. I couldn't get the stuff back that my dad needed. And even if I hadn't died, it would have been like failed mission. You know what I mean? Like my dad doesn't get his money from this guy because he beat the crap out of me. So it's very realistic in the sense of like, we're going to take 15th century Europe and have you be an ordinary guy. You know what life was like for ordinary guys in 15th century Europe?
Horrible.
It fucking sucked. And even more so for women. So God help you. I mean, you can't be a woman in this game, but the fate of women, as they keep talking about in here, is like, she was violated before she was beheaded and all that. Oh God. So the fact that it's so realistic means that it's really punishing. So at the very beginning, your town is just sacked and you're running away and the castle, you have the sword your dad made for the guy in the castle. He's like, bring it to him. And then the army starts invading and your dad's like, go, run, bring him this sword. He'll take care of you in the castle. And you're like, no, Dad, I'm going to help you. And that means that you're not there when they're pulling up the drawbridge. And I'm like, wait, let me in. And they're like, no time. Go to the next town and warn the person there. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm running away. And there's this dude following me. And why did the screen go black all of a sudden? I guess it was a loading screen or something. Yeah,
loading screen.
I just want to make sure that the stream is still working. So I'm running away, and then it's like, you better find a horse. And I was like, oh shit. And then there's these three guys trying to get in this woman's house, and I'm like, hey, leave her alone. And they're like, all right, we'll come kill you. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I jump on a horse and I'm riding away, and then the dudes are firing arrows at me, and I died. And I was like, oh fuck. So then it's the save game, and you can't save your game unless you have the Savior Schnapps or something. There's a special in-game potion you need to drink in order to save your game. What the fuck is that about?
Oh yeah, hardcore.
Hardcore. And not too hardcore because they do throw a bunch of them at you, so it's not totally hardcore, but it's still weird. Anyway, so it starts you back at when they're pulling up the drawbridge, and I'm like, damn it, so I'm running away, and this dude catches me, he's like, ha, and he kills me. I'm like, fuck off. So I have to run faster and more directly toward the spot with the horses, and eventually I kept dying on the horse because the arrows kept killing me, and I was like, this sucks. But I was also like, I'm gonna make it. I'm not letting this game defeat me this time. And I finally made it to the next town. And then you get there and it's like, oh, we'll take care of you. You should rest up. And then the army comes to you, the castle you're in, and you're like, oh shit, here we go again. And then, but the manor in that lord, or the lord in that manor, talks him down. He's like, I don't know where the dude went. The dude in the other castle ran away. And he's like, I don't know where he went. I don't have anything I can help you with. I don't have any beef with you. I'm not taking sides on who's the real king here.
It would have been funny if there was a person like, hey, let me in, I got a sword, and you just roll the drawbridge up. Like, no, go to the next village, loser.
Exactly. So it's really brutal. It's really punishing. I wasn't hating the cutscenes because there's this one part where the lady in this new castle comes to you and she's like, I don't think she actually lost her parents, but she had some sort of horrible experience when she was a kid. And so you kind of commiserate, and they give you backstory because your dad was kind of like not really telling you a lot about where he came from, and you really want to know because you're becoming an adult, and it's clear they're going to drip feed you information about that as time goes on, and the writing's pretty good, but it's so brutal, it's so hard. And when I got to the new castle, as soon as I get settled, then the dude's like, I gotta go bury my parents. And everyone's like, no, you can't go back there. It's filled with bandits and everything was destroyed. And you're like, I made a promise to my dad. So eventually you have to you go to the gate guard, and he's like, I can't let you out. The Lord of the Manor said not to let anybody out, and especially you. So you're like, oh, whatever. How can I get out? And he's like, I don't know. Maybe if you dressed up like a guard, I could pretend I didn't see you. So then you got to go find guard equipment. Apparently you can strangle a guard and take his shit, but I couldn't figure out how to strangle anybody. So you got to go pick locks, but in order to pick the lock, you need a lock pick. And it ain't like Skyrim where lock picks are just sitting around everywhere. Yeah. You got to buy them. And in order to buy them, you need gold, and you don't have any gold because your whole family just got butchered and you ran with the shirt on your back. So it's this whole thing where you got to steal some equipment and then sell it, and then you can use that to get a lockpick, and this the other thing. And then I look it online, and they go, just jump off the walkway over the gate, and you can get onto a horse that way. I was like, God damn it, I could have just jumped over it. So you go back, and then there's this dude there, and he's like, 3 guys are like, let me help you with your parents. And you're like, oh shit. And they're like, oh, that's a nice sword. Give it to me. And he's got this huge club. He's going to kill you with it. And then he beats you on the head. And then this other guy comes back and says, leave him alone. And they chase off the bullies. And then they take you back to the castle. And you're like, God damn it. I don't want to go back. I got to bury my parents. It's really kind of weird. And I kind of hate it. And I don't know if I'm going to keep going. Because then I looked online and I was like, okay, why do people like this game? Tell me why you like this game. And there's all these threads that are like, I want to like it, but I hate it. The combat's so janky. You can't save wherever you want. And apparently there's mods that can make the combat a little less annoying. And I might install them. I don't know. A lot of the posts were like, I played it for 200 hours, and I'm glad I did because it's very satisfying to finish the game. But on the other hand, fuck this. I'm never playing it again.
I think it appeals to those people who like Dark Souls and Elden Ring.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a hardcore RPG, isn't it? This was the hardcore RPG before Elden Ring came out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's what this was.
Yeah. And I thought about it this way. Right. I thought about it this way. Like, imagine, the beginning of Skyrim, right? You're about to get beheaded, and then a dragon comes in and burns the place down, then you escape, and then you go out into the open world and all that. If you could die in that opening dragon attack, that would suck, if you didn't run exactly the right way. And that's kind of what this game is like. It's like, it's supposed to be the intro to the game. It's supposed to be relatively chill, but it's still very, very brutal. So,
well, I guess it's almost like a rude awakening, isn't it?
It is a very rude awakening.
This is what to expect. It's setting you up so you know.
Oh yeah,
This is what you're gonna get.
Right, we're gonna let you know. We don't want you playing this for 100 hours and then going, it got hard.
From the offset, man. They're not messing about.
Exactly. So then so I think I want to play it a little more to just see, because I think I'm actually. I tell you what. After they got dragged back to the castle the second time, then the opening credits started. Which is like 2 hours in, which is kind of weird. Yeah. But on the other hand, I think that maybe I'm at sort of a starting point where it's actually going to open up and I can kind of do different things.
That's a long, cold open.
It's a very long, cold open. There's so many steps involved.
Mind you, if I remember rightly, Cyberpunk 2077 is similar to that. I think you're about 2 hours in before you see the opening title sequence.
Yeah, it's kind of
you're a long
weird
way
thing.
into the game.
I mean, I don't know. I always find cold opens to be, especially long cold opens. That just seems weird because then it's not so cold. It's lukewarm, but whatever.
I guess.
A couple other things about it. The old dude's voice doesn't actually sound old. So that's a little weird mismatch.
Maybe he's just a youthful old dude.
He could be. I don't know. Yeah. And here's the last thing I'll say. Being feeble and powerless isn't enough. Okay, we're going to make you watch constant cutscenes of nightmares where you have to relive your parents dying over and over again. It's like, God damn it. I know that's probably what he was thinking, but I don't want to have to experience that as the player. Damn it. So I don't know. It's very rough. I will probably play a little more, but every time I sit down to play games, I look at it. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to play that.
I know, it is that, isn't it?
Sense of overcoming with that game. I want to play, New World.
You've got to rev yourself up, haven't you? Like psych yourself up to play.
I mean, I should, but instead I just think, I'll play this other game.
No,
where I start off as a god.
But to play it, you've got to psych yourself
I should,
up. Like that.
This game's not going to defeat me. And that's really it. That's what a lot of people love about Dark Souls. I saw somebody say, like, it helped me out of my depression because it showed me I could overcome any challenge. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I don't really want that. I don't care about overcoming any challenge. I care about having fun when I'm playing video games.
I like that.
Which, again, makes me weird.
So, Ben, what else have you been playing?
I tell you what I've been playing. I have been playing Chivalry 2. I don't know if you guys
Chivalry
2. It's like your era that you were just talking about.
It's like Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah, not as
brutal.
Punishing. Well, it is brutal.
It is, from what I remember.
Head chopping you can do and stuff like that. But I just every so often when I'm like, I've got 15 minutes. Let's just go in one of the battles and have a go. And it's just absolutely so much fun. Except the archers. The archers suck. There's so sweaty on there. I tell you, they live to. They on purposely make sure you see them with the arrow as they fire it, and it kills you in one shot.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's 60-60 or 80-80.
Wow.
The main battle you can do.
That's intense.
But the people on it on PC, they are so. They're good. But they don't take it too serious. Like everyone's having a laugh. You get teabagged to death. I think I played this. I think I was on originally the first time I ever came on. I spoke about Chivalry 2. So I'm still playing that here and there. But every so often they have a different season with different maps and stuff like that. But I always go with swords and stuff like that, and like throwing knives because it's a bit cheap. But I wanted to get good at the axe because if you can combo that correctly, you're beautiful. You know what I like about it? The weapons feel meaty. Like it's hard to get a game when you swing a sword or a dagger. I don't know. It's very proddy. There's some games.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But every so often, like the Dark Souls, that's where they get like the Souls like.
It feels like it's got weight and heft to it.
But Chivalry, it's not like that. But they have got good weight. Whoever designed it, like the swing, if you as well because you play with a controller. If you tap the R trigger, it will just quickly do it. But if you hold it that extra second, it could go through shields that thing. But and there's some real good strats to it as well. Like there's some game modes where say you lose the first 5, you're getting destroyed. Then all of a sudden it will give one person, you're the king, you've got to keep them alive for the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And like that king just sits at the back and there's people who just throw themselves at them like to take the damage to try and make them survive. And like we had somewhere we were absolutely dominant. Like we've won this easy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they just somehow got the spawn timers just enough that they could just keep. There was like 40 people just in the middle of this guy like penguin formation. Like don't worry, bro, we're gonna look after you. And it's a really
See, and that's an important thing because there's certain games with the objective thing here that like after 2 rounds. Of all the 5 rounds, there's no point in playing out their other 3 rounds. Like you just might as well give up. But for them to find a way to twist it so that it's not just pointless for you to keep going, like that's a nice twist. That's a nice element. I like.
It's funny as well because like in the comment, like because it's on PC as well, people are typing
the game
like,
chat.
Bro, we had 6 minutes and we're not doing it. It's like change formation, go in arrow formation, so that everyone lightens up and goes in 2 by 2s, and it's really. Good community, really nice, friendly.
I've heard that about this community. Yeah, one of these days I'll try it again. I remember playing it once upon a time, and like I think the heft of the swords and stuff turned me off because I'm used to Skyrim, where it's like and it's like this isn't that game, and I got to let go of those expectations.
It is just a multiplayer game. There is no like single player story stuff, so it is like a 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a Call of Duty type of thing, but with medieval weapons.
Yeah, that's it. But that's Chivalry 2.
Cool,
nice.
And it looks like they got like Halloween decorations and stuff. They do seasonal things. Is there like Christmas stuff as well?
So I'd say every 2 months it's a different season and
that's
different
cool.
styles. And
I like that.
This game isn't too serious.
Yeah, right, sure. Yeah, that's a good thing to have in there as well. All right, sorry, Stu, I cut you off. You were saying.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just going to go. I thought we'd finished, so I was just going on to my next game, which is until then, I am powering
yeah.
through my second read through. I guess it's a read through, isn't it? It's not really a playthrough.
Yeah.
A second read through, and yeah, do you know what? It's more divergent than I expected, because I was expecting it to be very, very similar to the original playthrough, you know, but with just some minor changes. But it's not, you know, it's very much different. It's kind of, I don't know. There's stuff going on that didn't happen at all. There's one of the big reveals in the original playthrough has happened really early on in the second time I'm playing it through.
And does it make sense that they would do that, or does it just sort of happen like that? Do you think in an RNG kind of way?
I don't know.
So it's not like a result of your choices or something.
No, it's not a result of. I'm getting the impression this is kind of like parallel universes. Is the impression I'm getting, like the multiverse?
It's like sliding doors with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, I feel like the second time you're playing it through, you're playing just another version of events. So they're the same kind of events that are happening, but they're done in a different way. So different things.
Does it know that you're playing it a second time?
Yeah. So what's kind of interesting, when you finish it the first time through, you get to the end and it just says continue. So it doesn't say start a new game. It just says continue. You click on continue and it just starts the game over from the beginning again. But as you're playing through the second time, just different stuff happens in different orders and stuff. Yeah. So there's new things they throw at you. There's a new character that you meet in the first playthrough, but then you interact with more in the second playthrough. So there's a character you don't really speak to that much the first time through, but then the second time through, there's more interaction and you find out more backstory on one of the main characters that you didn't know the first time you played it.
That's such a cool concept that they've done that, because that's like remember Walking Dead, the original series, season 1. That I remember I played it once and then I played it again, but basically it was the story beats and everything was basically the same.
It wasn't built for multiple playthroughs, whereas this, I get the sense
a new
this
game
is
plus, not to make it like difficult or anything like that, but like to actually change and twist the stories. That's
No, but it's part, from what I can understand. It's part of the story as a whole. So when I think you have to play it 3 times. You have to play it 3 times, and when you play it like the third time through, you get the final ending. You find out what the hell, and it's just, and I know this is just, and I hate myself because I know, I know, but I love this game so much, but I just know it's not for everyone. You know what I mean? And I just want everyone to experience it, because the storytelling, the characterization, the naturalness of how they all talk to each other, like you'd expect teenagers to talk to each other. It's just so well done and emotional. It hits all those emotional beats as well. And it's just one of the best visual novels I've played. You know, and I mean, To the Moon set that bar very, very high, you know, back in the day. And Duke enjoyed that too. But I think this takes it another level higher than that. You know, it's just so, I can't tell you how good this game is. It's just so well done.
I hear you, Stu, and I am very intrigued because, you know, I try to keep my mind open, and I do like a good story no matter what format it's in. I hate to say it, but the bouncing is just driving me fucking nuts, man.
I mean, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. But
stop it.
But to be honest, that's never, until you pointed it out.
I know. It's the words. You're focused on what people are saying, I'm sure.
Yeah, I never really noticed it very much. And I think it's just so you've not got a static screen, you know, so the screen's
But there's so many other ways to do it, man. Have the person run their hands through their hair or something.
I suppose, but there's a lot of conversations going on. So it is almost that, like, you're looking at a lot of these, what would otherwise be static screens all the time. Right. And it adds character to them. Like the girl in the scene that you're seeing now, a lot of the time she sat down, she's kicking her foot all the time as well.
That's fine. I don't mind that, because that's something people actually do. Nobody sits there bouncing up and down. Like, you got to find other mannerisms other than bouncing up and down.
Like me personally, I don't mind that at all. It doesn't. I
know. It's a very small
universe, thing. Like, gravity is not as high.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I do think this is, apart from being a bit sort of mind-bending, you know, the way the story works and everything, it is also quite accessible It's kind of a believable world with believable characters, and I think that's what makes it so endearing.
Now, sorry, Stu, are these people aware that there's something weird going on with like time
Oh
loops
yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't think I got that before. Okay. Because she just
So
said the house looks neater than usual, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting and meta.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what's kind of interesting? So I can't remember what it's called now because it's something like the Reckoning or something like that they call it, and it's this massive catastrophic world event that causes all these natural disasters to happen at the same time. So there's like loads of earthquakes, loads of floods,
I see.
and all this shit goes down.
Okay.
But it has this like I think it's something to do with magnetism or something, and it has this almost there's other shit happening as a result of that.
Gotcha.
And it's something to do with rain, and like nobody's allowed to be in the rain on their own because often if there's a character in the rain on their own, they go missing and they're never seen again, and it's like they never existed.
Ooh,
so there's all this other interesting stuff happening as well. So it's just it's just brilliant.
Okay.
I just love this game.
So you think you're going to have all 3 playthroughs done for next time, maybe, or are you still on the
not for
second
next
one
time?
here?
These are kind of each playthrough is about 12 hours, so
that's a lot of playing. Yeah,
it's a decent story.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to rush through something like that. Like
no, because it's just so well done. Even all the social. All the social media aspect of it, like the texting people going, you can like when you're in on a train going to somewhere, you can sit and scroll through the version of Facebook and like stuff on Facebook and add comments to
it's
post
like worth looking at, I assume, because the worst thing is that they have that, but it's just pointless as hell.
No, it's just kind of interesting.
That's interesting because I know the new Talos Principle 2 had like some social media for robots or something, and I was like, that's either going to be really awesome or really fucking stupid.
No,
but
I think
if they do it right, then it can work.
Yeah, because it is stuff you'd expect to see on the like people posting stupid shit.
But to be honest, I don't always like going on the actual Facebook. I don't know if I want to do it on a video game.
Yeah, well, it's kind of just a distraction while something else is going on. You know what I mean?
Fine. Yeah.
But no, that's what I think makes this game so cool. Is it's quite grounded. And they swear, like you'd expect kids to swear to each other in a natural way. Yeah,
I can't wait for Act 3 when you finally get that shit. You're like, they're in Mars, they're in different galaxies. You're like, what the hell?
And then it's like $50 to see the end of the game. You're like, shit!
No,
I know what it's like when people rage.
How about this? It was all a dream.
It was
the ending.
It's the beginning of a Biggie song.
But I'll be honest, I knew from the moment I played the demo at one of the Game Fest, one of the like demo things that Steam did, that I would love this game. I just knew, just from playing the demo. It's so good, so good. There you go.
Well, it's my turn again, is it? Or are we back to Ben?
Yep. No,
okay.
I don't know.
So speaking of things that aren't exactly games.
Oh, you're not playing it again, are you?
What?
The coding on the computer where you do. I remember that.
No.
Yeah.
But it's kind of similar in a way. There's a game called Kind Words 2. Have y'all heard of Kind Words?
Can't say as I have.
Okay, so I was describing this to the Duchess, and she was like, that's not a video game. I was like, well, it kind of isn't. So here's what I'll start by saying. Y'all know how Left 4 Dead changed the world of video games because they made a game that was fun to play and required you to play with other people. You could not go off on your own thing in Left 4 Dead and expect to live more than 5 seconds, right?
Facts.
That's right. You had to cooperate.
Exactly. So I don't know why I keep getting these ads on these playthroughs. I'm sorry for people having to look at ads on the video stream. So I think Kind Words 2 has done something remarkable here because it seems like they've invented a game that takes online communication to a next level. In other words, they've set out to defang the trolls. This game is all about reading what people have written and writing nice things in response to them. That's the whole game, basically. You get these requests. People put things like, I just broke up with my girlfriend. I'm feeling really sad. Tell me something. Maybe you can help me get through this breakup, or, you know, I'm having a hard time dealing with my anxiety, or one that I read said that I don't want to burden my friends with my nervousness, but it's a part of me and I don't know if I should tell them or not. It's just all sorts of people taking their issues and like, you know, it's kind of like a big therapist's office or whatever. But you get these messages and you only have a certain amount of space to write the message in terms of like what you want feedback on. And then here's the people making their character. Skip past this. I'll show them the actual writing. So yeah, and then you have like, you know, 7 or 8 lines to write back. And if you send a request out and you have people I've gotten people sending me such kind things, and I'm not like in a bad spot. I was just sick on Friday. I stayed home from school and like, you know, I just wrote some stuff about that. And people were like, I thank goodness, thank you for teaching. That's so good of you to do that job.
Wait, these are online people?
Are these real people?
Yes,
oh,
these are
I
real
thought it
people.
was just like...
You know, these are real humans writing to each other.
I did.
No, it's actual humans. And then the question becomes, which was my question, how the fuck is not every response, fuck you, you suck, I hope you kill yourself?
I was going to say, if Chinny was here right now, he'd
be showing these people big time.
So here's the thing. First of all, you have to pay to play it. Like, it's not a free game, which cuts down on trolls immeasurably. And apparently, because I saw a conversation with the developer on the discussions forum on Steam, they said like they've built things into the software, not just, you know, every game has like, if you have the F word, it'll immediately block it. But they've built other things in to try to catch, you know, what people are saying.
Horrible.
Exactly. And if someone's horrible to you, it's interesting because you can't respond to the people who respond to you, right? So if Ben says I had a hard week, like, you know, I'm feeling pretty low, and I write back, fuck you, B, you suck. First of all, I don't see anyone's name. You only get letters. So it would just say B. And then for me, it would be D for Duke. And that's all you get is just the letter. If I wrote back, fuck you, kiss my ass, you suck, then Ben would just hit report and then it would go away. And I would have no way of knowing that it pissed Ben off or anything, you know what I mean? And that's really what trolls are doing.
No gratification.
They live for that, seeing other people get mad. And if you don't have that, there's really not much point. So I'm surprised that I still haven't seen more of that, because trolls are very good at getting around the systems that are designed to keep them away. But I feel like this game does a really good job of it. And I think that, you know, someone said, I can totally see trolls buying this and then playing it for 2 hours and being horrible and then refunding it right after, you know, at the 2 hour mark, which, I mean, I think they could do, but I just don't think they would bother. I feel like that's a lot of work. Whereas they could go on an online MMO and just be nasty for free, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a really remarkable game.
For the trolls,
exactly.
It's so much effort.
Right. There are other parts to the game besides just responding to what people say. Like there's this outside area, and you can do like chatting with people, but it's not real time. It's asynchronous, and I think part of that is to like make sure that people aren't being terrible. Because the faster the communication, the harder it is to monitor, I'm sure. So yeah, there's like chats, and you can like recommend. There's like a store with books and stuff. You can't actually get books, but you can like recommend books or music or movies and things, which is kind of neat. You can like go to different parts of town, and there's not a whole lot to do. It's not really a game with any kind of objectives. It's just, you know, and then there's paper airplanes you may see on the screen here. That is just people, you can write something and then throw it in a paper airplane, and people can't respond to it or anything. They just see what you wrote. So again, you know, it's mostly things like, I hope you're having a good day, or like, you know, whatever's going on, you got this, you know, people being generally pretty nice. Yeah.
How does it work? Like, how many are in a server, or is it like...
You don't really know. Like, all the people you see are presumably actual people, but you don't, like I said, like you don't really interact with them repeatedly. So it's hard to tell like how many, you know, there's usually maybe 6 or 7 on the screen at any given time. And there's different parts to the town, so you can see people.
How many, you need to check to see Steam, like how many people when you click online are actually playing that game.
Right.
It'd be interesting if there's like 4 people, yet there's 20 people, and it turns out it's AI. You'd be fuming, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, you know, I could totally see them including AI in here at some point, and maybe it is, but so far as I know, it's all actual humans. There's a cafe that's on the screen now where you can like get up and read a poem and stuff, and that's kind of cute. The poetry's kind of weak, as is
Haikus.
often the case in a real poetry reading. But you could do haikus. Why not?
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, it's a kick-ass and chew gum, and I'm all out of gum, so you know that's a reference to They Live. I like that.
It is. It's a classic.
Classic
So
movie.
it's a cute little thing. It's not much of a game, as I say. I can't see myself. Like I'm not waiting to get back into this, but I am curious to see when I write stuff. People can. The only way they can respond is by sending you a sticker. So if they like your response, if they don't like your response, they'll probably just delete it and you won't hear back from them. If they like your response, they could send you a sticker. So you kind of want to get all the stickers because then you can send them to other people. And I like, you know me, I'm a teacher, right? Like the best thing about my job is helping young people through hard times. And this is a game built around that whole idea. So I think it's a very creative approach to the game. I'm very interested to know more about how they keep people from being horrible to each other, because we all know that's 90% of what people do on the internet is be terrible. So I sent the dude an email saying like, hey, could I interview you maybe for our podcast? So maybe I'll be able to report back soon about that. But in the meantime, it's cute. It's very heartwarming. I think the biggest danger for me is that at times it feels very saccharine and sentimental in the sense of like, everybody's very happy. Everybody's very positive. And I'm like, God damn it. The world isn't a happy, sunny place all the time, man.
I guess that's why it would make me wonder whether it is AI.
Well, I actually think instead of that, I think it's what people are trying to do with this. Let's just take AI out of the equation. It's possible that it is, but I don't think it is. What I think is happening is that a lot of people who have to go through hard times, this is a place where nobody is trying to fight. There doesn't have to be any negativity. There doesn't have to be any of the, the rain and the suffering is out here in the real world. And when we go here, it's a cute little deer that's bringing our notes back and forth. And we get cute stickers of frogs. And we get to just be cool and happy and cozy in the world of this game. And I think that's nice.
Yeah, some people, they just don't have like anywhere to put it because they're scared to put it online because they know who they are. It tracks back this.
Right.
Just go on that game.
Right. And thank you, Ben. That's a very important point. Right. The anonymity, I think, is a big part of why it's working as well.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to trace it back. There's no identifying information. And even though you have an avatar, like I haven't seen the same person show up, I don't think. And it's not, you don't have to worry that someone's going to respond negatively because of something you said earlier. Every conversation's a fresh start. So...
Yeah, no, I quite like that. Really like it'll be interesting though. You might get a message back off the developer going, "No, fuck you! I ain't doing no interview."
Wouldn't that be great if the developer's like, "Motherfucking piece of shit podcast"?
I don't even speak to people.
Wow,
fuck off!
What the fuck? I thought you developed it. Yeah, but I spent so much time making that game. I don't have patience for real people. So fuck off and kiss my ass.
Work out what's his other game. It might be a vicious one where you sit there trolling.
Totally. And he's just like, I don't even give a fuck. I just want to make money. Kiss my ass. I also made this game where you mutilate kittens. It's like, oh my god. Whatever makes money, fuck off. That would be the ultimate.
Interesting, right? Ben, anything else from you?
No, I've not played anything. I haven't played this week's Play My Game because
we gave you like 30 seconds to figure out before we started the show. You didn't have time.
I know. I wrote it down and I was like, oh, I always write down what you guys are playing. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll check it out. I've completely forgot. There was oh, I've completely forgot.
I have got a big game to talk about, but do you know what? I'm going to save it for next week.
Okay, so that means we're playing Play My Game, bitch?
Let's do Play My Game, bitch.
Bitch. Yeah, bitch! Yeah, bitch! Play my game, bitch.
Yeah, it's got the Breaking Bad connection.
Yeah, bitch!
So this week's Play My Game, bitch, was Open Roads. So let's
actually, I think it's called Open Boxes and Look at Grandma's Old Shit. Isn't that the game?
Open Roads.
Oh, Open Roads.
Yeah, I finished it. So I finished it.
You played this whole game?
I did.
Fuck out of here.
I loved it.
I figured you would.
It definitely had Gone Home vibes. It had vibes of Gone Home for me. Don't get me wrong. I did have some little issues with it. The main issue I had was the animation.
The animation was not great. The faces.
Well, they say the first 3 words and then the rest of it is just them saying it, which was just weird. It was just a bit weird.
Yeah. It doesn't have the polish of Gone Home. I guess I shouldn't be too nasty when you bring up Gone Home because it does in some ways have a similar vibe. I guess that's fair. I just feel like it's, in terms of like the polish and the feel, the emotional texture, Gone Home feels like a 10, and this feels like a 6 or a 7.
I disagree. Having finished it, I think it has the emotional punch at the end.
That
I do
may
think
be.
that,
I'm only talking about the first hour or so because that's all.
Yeah, it's slow to begin with, but it does pick up pace once you leave the house. So once you leave the main house, and get on your road trip.
See, that's when I stopped.
Yeah, it does get more interesting, and also in addition to that, there is a hell of a lot more emotional shit going down between obviously the mother and daughter and their relationship.
Let me ask this question, Stu. So much of the first part of the game is like looking in drawers and trying to find this book and looking for that and packing up your stuff. Is there a lot of that in the rest of the game, or is it just y'all on the road talking?
No, well, it's weird. Like pacing wise, it does get quicker. So once you go to the summer house in the second part of the game, and there's some similar stuff to do. You're given like stuff to do, but it's more interesting, and it's not as long-winded.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff in the second part of the game is easier to find what you're looking for.
How long to beat?
2.5 hours it took, just over 2 hours to finish.
I don't really
it's
want to
definitely
keep
worth
going,
it.
but I'm curious. Like I'm really curious.
It's definitely worth it.
Because there were some things in the part that I played that I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of intriguing. Grandma had some like side piece or something. I want to know the answers.
Yeah,
that painting is really kind of weird.
It does. Funny. The payoff is worth it.
The key in the book is like, that's pretty cool.
All right.
Key in this book. All right.
Yeah. The
Secret
payoff
postcards
is
and shit. Okay. I'm not
is
promising
good.
nothing, but it did kind of pique my curiosity. I just
once you get to the summer house, it does.
Okay.
It doesn't take long, and then you go to yet another location, which is kind of cool.
As Bart Simpson once said, I can't promise I'll try, but I'll try to try.
Yeah. I think it's worth it. I think you will. I think you will. Maybe have a different opinion once you've finished it.
Well, I'll keep my mind open
because I was like you for the first hour. I was a bit like, it's a bit boring. I'm a bit bored.
Right.
Not lots going on. I'm getting drip fed this stuff. Then you find the secret suitcase.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, this is kind of a little bit more.
They should have cut out the part where you're packing up your room. That shit had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Here's 7 erasers. Like put each one in the bottom. Fuck out of here with the 7 erasers.
But you don't have to. You can just go to the door. You can only pack.
Come on, I'm a gamer, man. I'm gonna do what's on my quest list.
You can pack 2 things and then go, I think I'm done. So I do think you can cut all that shit out if you really wanted to. But I'm like you. I packed everything I could pack. Whatever I could pick up and pack, I did do.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally. And I think that's just getting an idea of who she is as a character. That's the whole point of that opening section. And
it's cool photos and stuff like that, which is like, okay, fine, I'll accept that.
But there's some quite interesting choices. When you sat in the car with your mum, there's a quite a degree of. I mean, the binary, you can say one thing or another. Yeah. But instantly, if you say one thing, it's going to be really inflammatory, and a mum's going to go off.
There was one of those when we were in the basement, and it was like, do you ever think I'm saying things just to say what you want to hear?
Yeah.
And then the other option was like, yeah, let's do it, or whatever. And I was just like, okay, I could use a third option here. Those two are pretty, like you say, binary. Wow. They're pretty far.
What was interesting, that was the one with the wedding dress in the attic.
Yeah.
And
right.
she said,
she's like, you're going to wear it on your wedding day.
And
it was either fuck off, I'm never getting married, or yes, I will wear it. Like, what the
fuck? You there was like 3 choices. I think one was, I'm going to wear the wedding dress, or no, I'm not sure marriage is for me. And I think there was another one that was very much less inflammatory. Yeah. But I did I'm going to, of course I'm going to wear the wedding dress.
Yeah, I just wanted to get along.
But she sussies you out, and she's like, and then I ended up getting in an argument with her because then I was like, yeah, well, I didn't always say I wanted to get married, and she's like, you've got to stop saying stuff just because it's what you think I want to hear, And I'm like, that's pretty realistic. That's what people do. We try and people please, don't we?
Yeah, I guess.
And I don't. I like that.
That's the thing, is that like I know a lot of people do that. It's just that I don't do that. I'm gonna fucking tell you what I think, and you can suck an egg if you don't like it. But
which is fine. But some people don't want to do that.
Right. And that's the tricky thing, is that like when you have to be this person, it gets tough. You know what I mean? I had the same problem with Lee in The Walking Dead Season 1, which we all agree is one of the greatest video games of all time.
Yeah.
But I remember bristling at like, wait a minute, what if I don't want him to be a criminal? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're in this character and you have to choose what the character would say, not necessarily what you personally would say, which is a weird thing to do from that first person point of view.
No, I do think you can do that to an extent in this game.
To an extent.
Yeah, to an extent.
I'm waiting for, I think this is one thing where AI will be very interesting is when we can actually do it as ourselves and go on these different adventures and have our choices matter without having to have a character there. But whatever, I'm getting
I mean, don't misunderstand me. The outcome of the story is the outcome of this story. I mean, nothing you say along the journey is going to change what happens at the end.
Your mom stabs you in the eye and she's like, you can't tell anyone.
But I thought it was a pretty unique story. It was kind of interesting. I liked how it ended. I liked what it all meant. And I was like, that's pretty good. I don't feel like I've wasted 2.5 hours there. I think I've actually pretty much enjoyed those 2.5 hours.
That's cool. Good.
Ben, what do you think? You think you would want to play this? Does it look like your cup of tea?
Not really. I've got so many other games, but it's intriguing. Like, I always love listening to your games you guys pick. They're always interesting games. There's never one where I'm like, oh yeah, that's the most up-to-date game that I would definitely
we never play the most up-to-date game.
Oh no!
Right.
And the voice acting's good, by the way. I think the voice acting's pretty good.
I think the voice acting's pretty good. I think one of the things for me in this game is it's kind of the LA Noire dilemma in that there's a lot of stuff to pick up. There's a lot of stuff to look at. There's a lot of letters and notes and postcards and photos and stuff. And like, I don't always want to spend that time going through stuff. Like, that's a lot of my job is looking at stuff and reading things. You know what I mean? Like, I want to kill things. I want to blow stuff up. But I get that you can't do that in a game like this. So it's just like, I think the fact that you can pick up and interact with so many different things, you know, I'm picking up bowls. You can go to a pottery workshop and you can pick up all the different pots and you have one conversation about pottery and that's it. And that's fine. And then it's like, should I keep picking up these pots? Is there going to be something worth looking at? And I'm just like, I want less of that, I guess.
No, I agree. And I think there's some weird sort of stuff of what you can and can't pick up.
Yeah, totally.
There's some stuff like later on in the game, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll definitely interact with that, and there'll be some voice prompt because it's kind of interesting. There's like a press X to call your mum, like, oh, you know, what do you think about this? Or hey, guess what I found here? And that's kind of interesting to me. But then, like you said, there's a lot of stuff you can pick up for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's for not any other reason, just for the fact you can pick it up and put it down.
Right.
And it's not everything. Some things you can, some things you can't. I don't know. It's a bit weird.
It's kind of arbitrary, but it has to be. Like we said about LA Noire, like it wouldn't be fun if you could literally pick up everything because that would just be exhausting.
Yeah. So. But no, it's a massive thumbs up from me, and it's worth 2.5 hours of anyone's time, in my opinion.
I'll tell you what, I'll give it a thumbs up because I didn't hate it when I was playing it. I was ready to move away, but that might have just been my state of mind, and I might go back and play it. The rest of it, I'm not promising nothing, but maybe.
I'll be interested to know your opinion on the end and the end of the story because I think personally it was a pretty good story. I quite like the ending.
Good story, and you know, comparing it to, you know, Gone Home is a good sign. So
yeah,
I think Chinny probably would give it a thumbs down if he were here.
Well, we'll find out because
did he send a speak pipe? Okay,
I've sent it you. Let's see what Chinny thinks. I'm guessing he hated.
You want to do it now, or you want to wait?
Yeah, no, let's do it now because it's relevant at the time, isn't it? I guess.
Sneak peek speak pipe. How about that? Here is Chinny's opinion on Open Roads.
Open Roads.
Right.
Open Roads.
Just a review of Open Roads.
You don't even have to hear it. We can tell from his tone of voice. I mean, he is sick, but I think if he were talking about a game he loved, he would not have this tone of voice.
Want me on the show because I'm ill and I have hand, foot, and mouth disease, which is fun.
Is that true?
So yeah, Open
Not that
Roads,
I'm aware of.
Okay.
I hated it from the start. Just another game about coming of age or moving out or some bullock.
See, I'll be curious to see his thoughts on this when Rosa moves out, because then he won't be so cynical and disattached and whatever, man.
But it's not. I mean, weirdly, it's not. That's not what the game's about at all. It's about.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Her and her mum lived with the grandma who had dementia.
Yeah.
Owed loads of money on the mortgage. Grandma dies, and they have to sell the house to pay off all the debts.
You know, Chitty ain't
but it's also
Chitty ain't really that. It's this suitcase, we've got to go. He's like, oh, okay, we're moving out. I get it,
exactly. And that's fair. I mean, that's not fair. But on the other hand, this character is right on the cusp of adulthood. And so there is some of that. You know, they're talking about whether you're going to get married or not. That's a little bit of coming of age. So it's not out of the
There is a little
picture
bit
to
of that,
assume
definitely.
But he is assuming things.
Bollocks. I played it for a bit and I found the secret key and I was like, this is boring. And then I felt bad because like Stu's always like, oh, you should give it a chance. So I gave it more of a chance. And then I went to the trailer and I went to the motel and I was like, no, I'm right. This is just so boring. You just pick up a coffee jar, put down the coffee jar, pick up a note. Oh no, oh, my granddad isn't my real dad. It's like, it's so boring. It's so boring. Don't care about the art style. It's barely even a video game. Bye.
All
Do you know what's amazing?
Tell us what you really think, Chinny.
Yeah.
Do you know what's amazing? He played way more than you do.
Yeah, he did. I was surprised. I was like, okay, how about that?
He was really be ill.
He was
like,
nearly.
really.
Can I
He's
just say,
delusional.
He wasn't that far off the end. I mean, he was nearly at the end of the
How
game.
about that? Yeah.
So who knew?
Well, there's no way he's going back to play it.
No, he
No,
isn't.
definitely not. So that's Open Roads. Next week, I don't know. There's a game called Mad Streets that looks like it could be fun.
I was thinking that as well. The beat 'em up.
Yeah, sure. let's do
Exact
it.
same. I thought that
Okay.
exact same thing. It looked pretty interesting. And it's like,
Yeah,
do
it
you
looks
want to
like
play a
Streets of
game where
Rage,
you
but
punch,
also silly?
where you punch people in the face? This is a game for you. I
There
was
you
like,
go.
brilliant. Let's play that.
So everybody out there, play Mad Streets with us for next
Yeah.
week. Okay,
Mad
so is that the
Streets.
end of what we've been playing?
That's the end of what we've been playing. So,
okay.
on that note, it's time for some emails.
Oh yeah, time for some email.
Whoa, that ruled.
The first one this evening is off Tainted Brain. And he says this: the more things change, the more things change. Hey, all. With the ever changing podcast RSS feeds,
Yes, it's back to normal, by the way, Tainted Brain.
Well, yeah, I know
It's
that.
changed.
It keeps on changing.
Yeah.
I happened to notice that there were 770 episodes of The Veteran Gamers, but there were 839 episodes altogether on the feed, which is true. Which is true. We're well over 800 episodes. So I went back, way back.
Oh, he's listening to the earliest of the early.
To September 2009, 035's episode 67. Now, they're not all there. I think it goes down to about 40.
Okay.
Because when, again, this was Podbean, again, many years ago, when we first were with Podbean, after about the first year, they had a server crash and they lost loads of the first episodes
Thanks
that we
a lot,
put on.
Podbean, you fuckers.
Yeah. I've still got them all, incidentally. I have every episode we've ever recorded.
Oh, dude,
right
we should go
episode
back and
one.
listen to the very first one.
Back to episode 1, which is
Yeah.
well, you weren't even there. You weren't
I wasn't
even there.
around.
dude.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you're
Moving
talking
around.
about the PlayStation 3. I hope it's really good. I can't wait to play it.
It was,
Nah,
do you
man,
know,
it was
I
the
have,
Atari 2600, man.
I have listened to it at some point not that long ago, and
You
I
wish you
wouldn't I wouldn't inflict that on anybody.
Yeah.
It was
We weren't as
truly-
polished and as awesome as we are now.
Yeah, now
man.
story
Now
time
we
is
got,
already
oh,
45
dude, we
minutes
got
long.
it down. We got his music sound, all the awesome. Yeah. It's
we
like me 2
definitely weren't
years.
polished on episode 1, kind of. Hey. Anyway, so less said about that, the better. In fact, it's quite a blessing that it only starts at about episode 40 that's available of the 035s. So anyway, where do I sit? With everyone sounding so young in episode 67, apparently. Cranky Duke sounding like a teenager calling a shoe shop looking for games.
Yeah.
And finding some games there.
That's right. I forgot about Cranky Duke. That was
The
fun.
childcare centre had already hung up on him. Chinny doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, but still sounding like Rosa throughout the rest of the show.
Nice.
And Stu being careful with his money, but somehow pre-ordering games that he just can't, so he can just play the beta. Of course, he was right to do so, as the game popped up a while back on. Does it hold up? Does it hold up? That game, of course, was Uncharted 2.
Wow.
Stu was raving about the game while the rest of you were seemingly unimpressed.
Wow. That's
Wow.
harsh.
It is. There was also a character called Quamri in there too. Rumor has it that he's still trying to find an indie game that Chinny will like. It's probably true. Probably true. Well, the show has aged like a fine wine, and not that it should be locked up in a large barrels and left in a damp cellar kind of way.
Yeah.
I am appreciative of the show, but not appreciative enough to be a patron. They don't pay well over here in Japan. In fact, they pay crap. But so does everyone know. But does everyone know there is a Patreon for the show? Yeah, you can do that.
We don't
really
need the
want
money,
to.
and if you have anything that you could spend it on besides us, then, there's a lot of people who could use the money. Send it to Kids in Gaza or something.
Yeah, but if
we
you
are grateful
do
to
want
those
to
who
give
send
us
it.
some cash,
Yeah.
we'll not say no. We don't say no.
We
do
won't
to
say
cash?
no. That's true.
We won't say no. So you can go to the Patreon and give some cash. It's just Veteran Gamers on Patreon.
Give us some money!
Yeah, give us some cash. Who cares? And I'm appreciative of the show, but not appreciative enough that I realised that Duke's Delivery to Nimbus X is available on Spotify.
Yeah, that's a new thing, actually. I just now got done.
Did you mention this before?
No.
What would be the best way to search for this on Spotify? Or that this book is also available on that Jeff Bezos site.
Yeah,
So
it is on Amazon.
insert advert here, dude.
It's crazy because when I was looking around for like how to promote the new book, Brains, which is coming out in the start of November, I found this website was like, make sure it's on Kindle. And I was like, oh yeah, I never did that with Nimbus X. I should do that with Nimbus X. And then I went and did it on Nimbus X and I forgot to tell anybody. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's on Kindle now. And then I was like, they were like, oh, make sure your audiobook is on this platform and it'll send it to all the other platforms. And I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea. Especially because I had already done an audiobook for Nimbus X, but I only released it on like SoundCloud and shit and put it on. I put one chapter in my podcast feed. So then I was like, it wouldn't take long to put it up on Amazon or to put it up on this website, which then sends it to everywhere, including Spotify. So yeah, Nimbus X is on Spotify. You can listen to the whole book that way. Jason Gallagher just did, and he was very nice about it. Thank you, Jason.
I listened to it when I just got the audio file off you, I think. I just got it off you and I listened to it.
Yeah.
And then finally he says, I'm appreciative of the show, but not appreciative enough that I realised DJ Oakley released yet another mix. Insert fast show nice clip here. Nice. I don't do them every week now, by the way. I only do them every 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, but you're as bad at promoting your mixes as I am about my books. It's ridiculous how much work we do. And then we just don't follow it up. We're like, it's out there. People can find it.
Do you know, this week's mix was pretty good. There was some sharp...
believe it.
There were some sharp transitions from tracks to
You're a good
one
DJ,
another.
and people hear me take shit at Stu all the time, but like, he knows what he's doing with the turntables, man.
I'm pretty good. Yeah. So it's interesting when I do a mix and I'm like, I should have brought that in sooner, or that wasn't in quite the right place.
That's because you're a perfectionist.
It is. It's a bit, but I like most people listen and don't give a shit. But
most people probably don't realize what because that's the thing is like they don't know what you know in terms of like what you meant to do or what you wanted to do ideally.
Yeah. And then other times,
if you mess up on the stage, if you're an actor and you say a line slightly wrong, chances are nobody else noticed. So
no. And then the other thing I'll do is I'll do like a really cool like loop like transition where I loop it in or something like that and I'm like, oh, that was super cool. And I'll play to them like, oh, did you hear this? It was really cool. And they'll be like,
and that's the right. That's the flip side. Is like the stuff you do that's so awesome, people don't give a shit. Hey, you should pay attention to that.
Yeah, and they don't.
But you can't have one without the other. Like the truth is, no one's paying very close attention to you.
That's right.
That's
they don't
good.
notice cool stuff, and they don't notice it when I've messed stuff up.
Real are for old people.
But yeah, no, I improve all the time. I'm always messing about, trying new stuff, and I think that's the best thing. I keep experimenting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So there you go. I do wish more people would listen to them, but they don't.
Step one, spam it on social media and like get it out there, man. You got to promote yourself. You need to whore yourself out there all day.
I'll give you a warning, Stu. My brother's he's been doing DJing for about 5 years or something like that, but on different decks. Anyway, he had an actual club and they went, don't worry, we've got Pioneer decks. We're all set up.
He'll have no clue.
Right. He turned up and he was like one of the headliners. He's really good. He's like, don't worry, bro. You can see a man with fear in his eyes.
He's dying.
He's dying inside right before you.
And you know what? Right? I came over to him and I was like, are you right, bro? How's it doing? And he looked me up and went, how long have I got left? I am butchering this. And I went,
Oh no.
you're only 20 minutes in, mate. He's
What?
like, I've got another 40 minutes of this.
Oh boy.
What you
Oh,
don't realize is that proper Pioneer Club
I know.
decks are completely
I
different
know,
to
he was
normal decks.
unbelievable.
You almost have to mix like you would on vinyl. I mean,
Yeah.
they are closer to vinyl than they are to a normal DJ controller like I've got, or he
Yeah.
probably has at home.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
and of course,
so
that was presumably
different.
the normal DJ controller before this
Yeah.
paint by number version that most people are using now.
Or like,
Exactly.
My brother's like, oh, don't worry, I've used loads of different DJ decks. And then
Yeah.
as soon as he turned
Oh.
up,
Oh
he's
shit.
like, don't. He's like, laptop. He's like, oh, no, don't do laptop. USB stick only.
Yeah, that's
I
all
was
you
like,
have.
oh, you're screwed.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
could
Yeah,
see
right.
him, like, he was setting up, and then he's like, put his headphones on. He was like, I don't even know how to turn this down. It's so loud in my headphones, I can't hear
And
it.
also,
And I'm like, oh.
if you don't have all your link cables plugged in, right, so for all the decks to the mixers and stuff like that, you can't have over and above waveforms or anything like that. It just doesn't do it.
Oh,
So you're
mate.
literally mixing purely by ear, and it doesn't always. And again, if the link cable's on it doesn't beat match either, so it won't beat match anything for you.
Do you know what?
You've got to do all of that stuff.
Yeah, beat match. That's it. He couldn't even do, like the wave formations where you have it on repeat and it just really keeps looping. He
Yep.
didn't know what button he was pressing.
You see, unless
Oh,
I'm
my.
quite. I probably would struggle, but not as much because I have a Pioneer DDJ 800, which is kind of like a club setup. So
Yeah.
it's a very similar layout to what you'd get on a proper CDJ. So it is similar, but I would struggle because
Do you know what? Right,
it's so
I'm like,
different.
yeah. The thing is, nobody could look him after he came off. No one could look him in the eyes because it was that bad. But like he knew it, and the next day he rang me up and he's like, dude, that was the most publicly humiliating thing I've ever done. He's like,
Oh,
that
no.
was the most embarrassing thing he's ever done. And I was there like, when you're there, I'm
man.
like, nah, it could have been worse, dude. And there wasn't no saving it. Him and his wife were there. And we were like, dude, should we just go and hide in the toilets until it's over? Because I
Oh,
can't watch this.
That's sad.
I do feel for him though, because when there's so many people there and you're dying in front
Yeah.
of them, you're not even like beat matching properly, and
Yeah.
your transitions
Yeah.
aren't where you want them,
Well,
and
The thing is, he's actually
no,
really
forget
good.
all the
Yeah.
fancy tricks. Just
I
do it in
know,
a mix. You know what I mean?
Like, dude, there was a moment where this music started, the whole track played, and it went quiet, and he pushed the other one. And he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my god!
I was like, oh,
See, and that causes us to have a lot more respect for people who can make it work.
You see,
I
I
know.
again, I mean, again, I
wow.
probably wouldn't be quite as bad
No.
because I've obviously done some vinyl mixing with my mate and had a go at that. So I've got
it was bad.
a little bit of an idea, but I'd be the same. I can't. I just
It's
feel
right. He recovered. Like on Saturday. Yesterday he played in front of 300 people and he blew it away. But he's
and
like,
that was
I'm
with just his normal
bringing
decks. I'm
his
assuming.
own
See, that you
decks, his own
appreciate getting
laptop
back
and
home to your
everything.
home equipment even more now.
Oh my days. Sorry.
It's a tough sell and it's a big deal. I mean, when you're in front of a crowd.
Oh, it was so bad. There was a woman on the bar staff, and she's like, "Do you know him?" I went, "Oh, dude,
Nope. You should have gone. Not a clue. Never seen him before, but me, he's dying, isn't he? Yeah, it's difficult because it's. But there are places, by the way, you can go and hire them out for like a few hours and have
Do
a
you know,
go.
that song, "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger." I was like, "Dad,
Yeah.
just play that in repeat."
Yeah, there
That's
you go.
your song right now.
There it is. That actually comes from Friedrich Nietzsche before it became from whatever the singer is.
Oh,
But
yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
But
thank
yeah,
you,
I think
Brian.
I'll
Anything else about-
I'll
Oh.
just stick to garden parties.
There you go.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Anything else from
So
Kenny
he
Brian's
says,
email?
no, he just says, thank you all. Thank you, Brian. So there
Thank you,
go.
Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Appreciate you.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to old stuff.
We have got an email off Jason.
Oh, Jason. Yeah.
And he says, hey, Ben.
Hey.
Hey. The stars are out. The lights are out. Leave it to the author of Butt Wipe to stand up for pay to win. Duke has a stress ball he drives around in Rocket League, shoved so far up his brains that he cannot recognize how dark it is out there in video game land. Shit is getting worse. You better stand up to this bullshit, Ben. If your generation stands by wiping their butts and mine's then disappearing world of golden video games, will be nothing but a pentimento wake-up.
Oh, I like that.
See, he's trying to
I like
work in
that.
Pentiment. I saw what you did there, Jason. That's cute.
Pentimento, wake up, young Ben. Your
Okay,
heads are inside your anus.
Okay.
Play to win. Viva la Jason. I'll teach you well, grasshopper.
Teach me.
Yeah.
Teach your ways, Jason.
Duke may be able to pull off some really good fiction writing, but when it comes to truth, his head sometimes needs to be yanked up from out of his arsehole. He says he's against pay to win, but I guarantee he's given more cash to Rocket League than any other video game except that Myst crap. That's not true, though, is it?
Totally not true. I just got
Totally
done
not
saying
true.
I maybe gave them $40 over 5,000 hours.
Which is-
that is the greatest value in video gaming ever that I've ever
which is a
gotten.
kind of cost of a video game, isn't it, really?
Yeah, but I
$40.
don't usually get 5,000 hours out of a game.
Correct.
So I mean, look. The last thing I'll say about it, you can be against pay to win, but you also need to recognize your personal benefit cost ratio. Because if you got 500 hours of gameplay out of a free game, say what you want about the fact that it's frustrating that it's pay to win now. That's a lot of entertainment, and if you didn't enjoy it, I'm sorry. At a certain point, after 200 hours, that's on you.
There you go.
That's it.
It's on you.
There you go.
I'm repeating myself now.
Anyway, he finishes. Your leader, Jason.
Jason,
Yes, thank you,
know
Jason.
what?
We appreciate you.
By the way,
by the way.
I recommend Phoenix Springs multiple plays to win.
Hey.
So it's not
Okay.
pay to win, play to, which incidentally is until then is multiple plays to win, I guess.
There you go.
Stu, buy Duke a damn stress ball. He squeezed his other to death. So,
I don't have
yeah.
a stress ball. What are you talking about? I have this
Oh.
towel that I roll up to keep my wrist from being hurt.
Oh God,
Clicking the mouse.
he's just sent just this second as I finished reading that. He sent another email
Jesus, Jason, he can't
where he
stop.
says,
This
"I
man
know
just keeps going.
hand, foot, and mouth." I almost forgot. I recently watched Long Legs, and the bad guy reminded me so much of Chidi that his speak pipe scared me. Do you know? Actually, he does. He does. I watched Long Legs. It's a weird film.
That is weird.
Kind Words 2 is pay to play. It's pay to play.
Well, yeah, most video games are pay to play.
So do not try denying you're a pay to play supporter, Duke.
Well, most people who play video games are paying to play. That's not a
Yeah,
thing.
we do pay to play. It's
I
not
see
pay
a
to win.
running
We pay
theme.
to
not a
play.
burn.
This is not a one episode discussion. This is gonna
Yeah,
go
exactly,
on and on
that's
and
it.
on. I can feel it.
Yeah.
That's funny. Right, final thing tonight. We have got a speak pipe, but it's not off Derek. It's not off Derek. No speak
Oh,
pipe
snap.
off speak. I keep saying pipe. Speak
Saint
pipe even.
Diesel. Yeah, speak pipe.
Pipe, it's the way to leave a message
it's
for
crap.
us.
Devil's Advocate is the name of this speak pipe. Let's hear it.
Hey, veteran gamers, it's St. Deal back again. With Halloween fast approaching, I thought I'd send you a quiz next week and the week after to do with horror and all its aspects, not necessarily to do with Halloween itself, but it got me thinking about something that came up a number of years ago now. I think it was something whipped up mainly by the media, but a number of pressure groups in the USA, and that's satanic panic, because there was concern amongst parents, possibly still is, to do with the whole aspect of horror, and especially Halloween, that it may be affecting unduly the minds and maybe the bodies of their young children. The whole thing to do with worshipping evil, the devil, zombies, the undead, black magic, all that sort of thing. And of course, with the rise of the internet and the easy access to stuff on there, it's easy for kids, young kids, to see images which maybe years ago they didn't have a chance to see. But I remember even when the Harry Potter books came out in the mid-90s, I think it was, before the movies, there was some concern amongst parents that their kids were reading about witches and wizards and how maybe they might get into the whole black magic aspect through that, even just reading about it in books, although I don't think there is an age restriction on books. I could be wrong on that. So what do you think, Halloween? Is it just a bit of fun, or do you think it could have some negative effects on young children?
See, it's funny. I was actually just listening to a podcast. Larry Wilmore, who's a really good TV writer, he was interviewing a guy. I can't remember his name, but he wrote a book called Nexus, which is about information. And the first thing he said was, information is not the same thing as truth. Information is just a thing that people either say or write and put out there, and it might be true or not. And he pointed out that people say that the printing press brought about the Renaissance and the scientific revolution. He said that's not true. For 200 years after the printing press came out, the number one type of books that was being printed were like manuals for hunting witches and shit.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts as well. Yeah, there's a podcast about him talking about how much information. So there's good information, but there's so much garbage, and you need institutions.
Yeah, exactly. Right. He talked about academic publishers.
Just read
he's making the rounds. Yeah, presumably. Oh, absolutely. He's a really interesting guy, because a lot of times Larry Wilmore interview people, or I'll see interviews in various places, and I'll be like, I don't know. Or I'll listen to some of it, and I'll be like, but this one I couldn't stop listening to, and it was over an hour long. I was really, I'm not maybe this is the same podcast. I was really intrigued by what he was saying. Yeah, he had a good perspective. So I just think it's interesting because I think that's what we see with the internet, obviously. Like so many people saying that, and look, is there danger of kids? I think the biggest danger is kids being desensitized to violence and watching murders and learning to laugh rather than feel empathy for the person being murdered. I think that's kind of weird. But on the other hand, I don't really clutch my pearls or like wring my hands about it, because I think that most young people understand what my dad explicitly told me at one point, which is that's a movie and it's not real life. And so I think as long as young people understand that, then we're good.
Definitely. I think it's interesting though, because I could say Terrifier, where everyone goes fucking mad about, oh, it's so violent and it's so like gruesome and all this. But it's almost like, and I'm not suggesting kids should watch any of this stuff, by the way. Yeah. But it's almost like cartoon violence, you know what I mean? Right. It's not. Yeah. It's just ridiculous, you know what I mean? It's gruesome, it's ridiculous, it's over the top.
Sure.
But we watched a movie this weekend called Bull. Have you heard of this?
No.
So it's a kind of gritty British thriller about a guy who's wronged by the mob where he lives. So it's like, this guy runs this mob family, and it's set in the like north of England or wherever, and it's pretty gritty. And the opening scene, he goes to this house to get revenge. It's basically a revenge thriller. So they've wronged him, and he just wants to kill them all off, the people who've wronged him.
Right.
And the first dude, he goes in his house, he wraps him up with like duct tape to a chair.
Oh boy.
Right, and all his face is wrapped up, and he's all like, there's just his eyes and mouth poking out of all this duct tape that he's strapped into this chair in.
Yeah.
And his wife comes in, and obviously she doesn't know he's there. He's sat on the sofa behind her. So she comes in and she's like, oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, right? So he wants to find out where his ex-girlfriend is, and he's like, where is she? And she's like, where's who? You know who I'm talking about. And she's like, I don't know. I don't know where she is and all this. And he just literally walks up to him, stabs him in the chest, and then just stabs him in the neck. And it's just so brutal and so like, and I think that for me is worse than like the vast majority of horror films, because it was gritty and realistic,
it's visceral,
and
right?
It's visceral, I remember, and it's like matter of fact, and he's just a complete psycho.
I remember being really traumatized by Zodiac, because there's one murder scene in that was so. They're in the park, and it just the feeling of it, the woman crying out. I was just so heartbroken, and it wasn't gory or really that gruesome, but it was an emotional thing. You know what I mean? It was that same thing you're talking about, Stu, like being real, and in the blink of an eye, like someone's dead. And
there's another part in the film where they want this guy to sign to buy meat off them instead of his normal meat supply, so they can loan the money through his butchery place.
Yeah.
And they're in the office with him, and they're beating him up a bit. And then this guy comes in, and he says to him, and they're trying to get him to sign these papers, and he's like, look, I'll do anything for you. I've done loads of shit for you in the past, but I can't sign this. I can't sign it. And he goes, are you left or right-handed? Right? He just asks him. He's like, are you left or right-handed? And he goes,
that.
And he goes, left-handed. Why? And he literally grabs his right hand, gets a knife, and he just goes and just chops all of his fingers off, like all the fingers on his right hand. And he's like, sign the fucking papers, like this. And he's like, okay. And he's like, signing papers, and blood squirting out of his finger stumps. And I was just like,
all right, we got it. We get the picture. The other thing I would say about these satanic panics is that I think it's interesting to see they're a new form of something that goes back to the beginning of time. Plato said we shouldn't read poetry because it excites the emotions and we should be focused on logic and reason. When novels first started coming out in the 17th century, there was this panic that women were going to spend all their time reading and they weren't going to take care of their children or their husbands. Everyone's going to starve to death. When comic books came out, everyone thought they were going to turn children into monsters and murderers. When video games came out, of course, people thought they were going to turn kids into evil. You know, there's
like I always remember like Manhunt. When Manhunt came out in England, there was a lot of teenagers that went and did some crazy stuff, and they said it was Manhunt that made them.
Well, again, it was a pretty visceral game. Like you could pull a bag on someone's head and suffocate them to death.
Yeah,
exactly. And let's not get it twisted. Kids should not be playing that game. Like, I agree with that.
100%.
The question is if the government should be the one making that decision about what kids play and what they see, because that's the same thing with rap lyrics. That I don't think kids should be listening to 2 Live Crew, but I also don't like the idea of the government saying like you can't sell this to anybody. You have to have it, behind.
I think as well, you can you know what it is. I said this. We was having a chat with some of my friends when some of our school friends have gone different directions in life, and you always think, wow, some were really sheltered, some weren't so sheltered, and there does come a point where you see something like, I'm not gonna lie, on Reddit, the Ukraine subreddit with the Russian stuff. The stuff I'm seeing on there are the most horrific things ever. Yeah, and you know what? Right. I see 1, 2, and I go, no, I can't.
Yeah,
people get into the glorified. I go, that's real people who have got families. And my heart bleeds for those people because the Russians and the Ukrainians, because the Russians are just propaganda. They don't understand.
Everybody loses in a war.
But some of my friends, have been so desensitized to it, where they are like getting off on it, and it's
that's sick.
That's just
that is
your mind
weird.
Can be so like it's like that with Halloween and stuff like that, when people say, like I always think, the Slender Man, that there was those 2 children.
And they were properly mental. One of them was properly mentally ill, and the other one was like a hanger-on. She just did whatever the other one said, which is also kind of
in Halloween. There is when you have like all of England and America and stuff, there is going to be cases where people will be out and dressed in Halloween outfits, and they do believe. But that's where the mental health crisis has got.
Right.
You've got to try.
That's why we need better mental health care.
I don't think that you could just like you say, it's telling cults and everyone's getting freaked out. Parents do. You can't ban, because as soon as you ban, people try and find other ways around it, like we're saying. It's so
they do. I mean, for me, it's a question about like how much exposure do we have, and I think that I tend to be pretty liberal on the side of like freedom of speech, but I also believe that it takes a village to raise a child. So if society and for me, the bigger question is like, do we give kids time and space to be kids, or are we feeding them a whole bunch of stuff about you got to hurry up and grow up, you got to start dressing sexy, you got to start getting the washboard abs? And that's I think the pressure of conforming to society's standards. That's a bigger danger. I see a lot of that in my students, whereas I don't see a whole lot of like kids likely to become murderers and stuff.
There was a thing I read recently saying that they're trying to ban mobile phones to under 12s or something like that. So they're trying to bring in a law where kids under 12-year-old don't have access to smartphones, you know what I mean? So they actually spend more quality time reading books and doing the stuff they're meant to be doing.
It is a weird generation, because we were brought up without the phones. Like I was in that era where phones weren't around, and then as soon as I was 15, 16, like the first iPhone really, or just before the Samsung Bluetooth, that's when phones really took off. Whereas now, this weekend I went to a club to see like a Charlie X rave type stuff. And the amount of people on their phones filming and stuff. I know everyone is boomers. I remember sound like boomers right now. But like,
wow, but you're not wrong though. That's the thing.
It's just so there's a way of. I do feel like though people with their phones, they can get addicted and like Halloween and stuff.
I have students who talk about how addicted they are, and they're like, I can't sleep because I'm staring at my phone all day. Like I wish I could stop.
It is a drug. It is a drug.
It is a drug. It's totally a drug. It releases the dopamine in the brain. And that's the real horror show, man. We solved that problem.
Not Halloween.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it is.
Right, that's about it. So it's time for some shout outs, I guess.
All right, people.
It's time for a shout out. Hey!
I'll go first. I'm going to shout out Ben for filling in last minute for Chinny, who's ill. I'm obviously going to shout out Chinny. Hope you're better soon.
Yeah, get better.
Nothing too serious.
That's right.
And obviously shout out all the people who contribute every week and send us emails, send us Speak pipes. For those people interested, because Chinny, even though it's in the show notes, it's in our show notes, it's on Podbean. So if you want to send us a speak pipe, it's www.speakpipe.com/veteran gamers.
Yeah, no UK on that address. It's just veteran gamers. And to be fair to Chinny, though, I am the type of person who I'm used to Googling stuff, and then if it doesn't come up, I'm like, now what? But I agree with you, Stu. He probably could have found it if he had gone to the show notes. But it is in the show notes for future reference. We don't need to keep picking on Chinny. I actually am so lazy at this point. I start typing stuff into the Google bar, and if it doesn't start filling in automatically, I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Do you know what I quite like? And I never thought I would say this. I quite like the AI answer that comes up at the top now.
I always scroll right past that, man.
No, do you know what? A lot of the time, it's actually it's usually accurate. I don't need to go any further.
I want to go to a website that was written by AI and look at that instead. That's the irony.
The AI right now has got no adverts, so it's very clean.
Right. I like it.
And I'm not stupid. I know that a lot of, if I go to Game Rant, like chances are half of their articles are written by AI. So
yeah, it's probably true.
There's no getting around it.
So that's my shout outs, I guess.
Yeah, Ben, what do you got?
Obviously, you two, I appreciate you guys. Always look after me when I come on the show. And,
appreciate you filling in at the last minute. This was very short notice, so it's appreciated.
It was very short notice.
I hope people listening. Sorry, I'm not Chinny, but Chinny's dying.
Oh, they're like, thank God.
He'll be back next week.
No, I'm kidding.
He'll be back next week, I'm sure.
He better be.
And I tell you what, I'll shout out my brother and his wife. They've just flew to Morocco, and
oh my goodness,
they've just got there, shorts and everything. And for the first time in a year, it's absolutely pouring down with rain. They can't believe it. And it's absolutely
They had to bring the rain with them, huh?
Yeah, I was like, so British. So, because I was so jealous. They're like, oh, yeah, we're getting away from the cold. We're going to go sit in the sun. But, oh, yeah, enjoy it. And to be honest, they sent a picture like, yo, it's absolutely peed it down with rain. Like, what the hell is going on? So, just this sweet, baby.
Well, I tell you, I finally have a reason to use my Morocco sound clip here.
Do it.
Japan.
See? There you go. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Oh, that was good. Weak. But no, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah. I will shout out Tainted Brain and SLH made a squishy pumpkin. That was pretty cool to look at on Instagram or something. I don't know. I wrote down some shout outs, I think. No, it was that one. Shout out Amar. He's going through some stuff. And shout out to my friend John, who's going through some stuff. I got a lot of people going through stuff. And that's okay. That's life. You got ups and downs, strikes and gutters.
They need to get on kind words too.
They should get on kind words too, yeah. Shout out to the Duchess because she's awesome. And I think she's making tacos for dinner. And shout out to my students who I'm going to have to not get papers back tomorrow. But actually, the class doesn't meet till Tuesday. So if I grade them tomorrow, it's not that big a deal. But I had to scramble to get this whole thing set up instead of grading papers. Actually, I was playing games too, so I can't really blame it on the technical stuff. But I'm glad that it worked out okay. And also, shout out James Bevan. He asked if I'd seen Don't Be a Menace to Society while drinking juice in the hood. And yes, I have seen that movie. It's funny. It's not as good as CB4. CB4 is the best hip-hop satire of all time. But Don't Be a Menace is a funny movie. So yes, shout out to him. And he got my reference to I'll suck your dick, man. So there's that. And that's it. I think we're done, yes?
Just before we go, if anyone else wants to send us an email to the show.
Yes.
Do you two guys know do you know the email address, or am I reading?
Veterans@gmail, right?
No, it isn't. Ben, any ideas what the email address is?
You say this every time I come on.
Oh,
yeah. VeteranGamersUK.com/
No.
I don't know.
Just tell us what the email address is. You don't have to shame Ben for not knowing.
You know what? Next time you have me on, I am writing it down.
Hey, Stu, what's the email address for the SEAL podcast, Stu?
Yeah,
I haven't got a clue because I've never written it.
All right, then. Well.
It's VGPodcastUK@gmail.com. It's
VGPodcastUK@gmail.com.
Do you know what's weird?
Send us an email, people.
You know what's weird though? I've just gone on to one of our emails and just clicked on the to. Sorry, it does from, to, date, etc.
Yes.
And it says to Veteran Gamers Podcast, VGPodcastUK@gmail.com. How does it know?
I don't know.
I don't know. I never
might have
typed
done
that
something
in.
with the
No,
Google
I
account
set it up.
something.
No, I set that up.
See, I think here's what's going on. It's like in Fight Club when a dude can't sleep and he stays up and makes soap and flies all over the country but doesn't remember it. You're doing that with your Podbean account and the Gmail account. You're just going sleepwalking and sleep changing stuff. And then you're like, what happened? How did this happen? That's what's going on. I figured it out.
I don't know. It's weird.
Thank you. Good night. Much love.
Are we done?
No, it just knows.
Okay, we're done. Thank you, everybody.
All right, show's over. No refunds. You heard the robot. Get out.
Won't you?
Should have played House of Pain. Oh, I like the shirt, Ben. Beautiful. Jump around, baby. Jump around. And speaking of Nimbus X, I should have said I'm wearing the ZPC shirt today. What are you wearing, Stu? You got flying on your flag. Stu, do you have anything on your shirt?
No, I don't. It's plain.
Okay. I tell you, I like Jump Around,
it's just
but
a very plain. I like this hoodie though. It's a nice shape.
Shamrocks and Shenanigans was my jam. House of Pain, that remix, the Butch Vig remix. Boom, shalak lock, boom. That's a great song.
Yeah.
And the one they did on the Judgment Night soundtrack. That was a good song too.
Yeah, I saw them in Nottingham, and it was so fun because like it's like proper old school. It was their 25th anniversary of like House of Pain and all that. But it was so funny because there was a load of people just there for that one song. But I loved all that old stuff, and I was just there like, yo, this is.
And most people were like, what is this? I don't even know this song.
It was funny as well because they played it. And they're like, we know you want to hear it again. So we'll play it again. It's like, yeah, we know this is the song that they.
Yeah. Well, that's what Ministry did when they came to town. They were like, halfway through the show, they were like, all right, Madison, you've been really nice while we jerk off up here and do all this new shit. You just came for the classics. Well, here we go. And everyone's like, yeah. So.
Do you know,
you reach a certain age as performers, you gotta own that. It's like, I know why you're here. It's not to hear the album we just put out.
Well, we went to watch Depeche Mode twice.
Yeah.
And each time we went, they had a new album out.
Yeah.
And the minute they played a song from the new albums, you could just see everyone sitting down and
feel the air die.
Nobody cares. You don't want to. No one cares.
But you know what? I'm sorry. I respect that artists don't just want to play the same 5 songs over and over. So like, you got to give them time to. And I mean, you don't have to be rude, but you also you can't get excited about it. I agree.
It is funny because like certain people, they're like, oh, we've got a new album out. People go, ooh, we're excited. And then some other artists, you know you're either A tier or like D tier. Because you've got a new album, they're gonna be like, oh.
Well, Brother Ali pointed out that he was talking to a guy from Atmosphere who said people hate the new album, and then when the new album comes out, they're like, oh man, your previous album was great, this new one's not very good. And then the next one comes out and they go, the last one was good, this one's not. So it's like there's that cycle. As soon as things get a little older, things get nicer in the rearview mirror, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we went to watch Jamiroquai last year.
Yeah.
And he just played all the cloud because that's all he played. He didn't have a new album out. He hadn't done concerts for about 10 years. Yeah. And he just played all the stuff that there wasn't a single song I didn't know. You know what I mean? I knew every single song that he played. Yeah. And he had such a huge back catalogue. You know, there was loads of songs. Perfect. That's what you want.
Yeah.
None of this shit you don't know. Who cares?
Well. All right, y'all, I got to go take care of some stuff. Pleasure doing business with you. Somebody let Jimmy know that we're done. You can come and end the stream.
I will do. Okie dokie.
Have a good night.
Thank you all. Thanks again, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Peace out.
See you later. Bye.
Okay, that's enough. No more talking.